This episode of The Weigh-In, where we talk to content creators, bait makers, and industry insiders. This episode's brought to you by our fine sponsors, Big Al Speed Shine. You can find all their products at BigAlSpeedShine.com. Spray it on, wipe it off, done. Deep gloss, slick finish, big shine. Big Al Speed Shine, slick it up. FCLX. FCLX is a specialized extinguishing agent designed to tackle complex lithium-ion battery fires and conveniently packaged for use in boats, side-by-sides, campers, and homes. Proudly made in the USA, FCLX penetrates the battery during thermal runaway, rapidly cooling the fire and preventing reignition. The FCLX agent interrupts the lithium oxidation process that fuels the fire while neutralizing the harmful gases. Get yours today at FullCircleLithium.com. Now, let's get ready to weigh in. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Monday night episode of The Weigh-In. We're glad y'all could be with us tonight. And, of course, we got the guys from Gieser Fishing Co. here, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But I wanted to thank y'all for stopping by. Got y'all in the comments. Real quick, before we get started too far, so far, I've remembered to pull TikTok up. I just forgot to charge my phone, so that's a problem. And we got Shane already dropping out. What's going on? he keeps having problems. But anyway, I want to take a chance, just a moment. You know, we've heard, you know, Mr. John Wilson. He's still in our thoughts and prayers. And y'all make sure. I know he's posted a little bit more on social media today. The first time since I've seen it in a while. You know, he lost his daughter and his granddaughter in a vehicle accident. And you know, just John, if you're out there watching, we love you, brother. And if you need anything, please reach out, guys. They're hosting a fishing tournament on Tourney X. I signed up. We've got. I'll try to get Shane back in here real quick. I don't see him popped up just yet. We'll let it sit there. I got signed up for it. I think there's over 50 participants so far. You don't have to have a kayak to sign up. Just go sign up. The money goes to John and his family. It's just going to be something huge for him. And if there's anything else we can do for John, I'd love to see it put together. I mean, he's a great dude. He's in I don't know how he finds time. I don't know where he comes up with all this time, because he's fishing all the time. He's in every podcast that you see out there. He's one of the biggest channel supporters. And I just want to tell him, we love you, brother. And we hope to get you back soon. And if you need anything, please reach out to us. But it's going to be a great night. We got some great guests, guys, here. Without further ado, Gieser Fishing Co., Mr. Scott Gieser and Shane Gieser. How y'all doing tonight, guys?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having us.
Well, Shane
he keeps on going, oh, my gosh, I'm telling you, my own kid. He's the techie too. He's the one who coaches us through. Dad, you're dumb. You don't know how to do anything. Look at me.
Yeah.
Camera working. Everything's great.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, when I sent him the link to the show, I knew immediately that it wasn't going to work, because it didn't pop up the actual click link. So he sent me. I already had it preloaded in my text message. So when he said it's not working, I hit enter, and it was right there on him. So I knew immediately it wasn't going to work. But I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong. But
yeah.
So we got Eric LaRue in the chat. We got Coleman Jones. What's up, Coleman? Eddie Hudson, what's going on, brother? Who else we got in here? Bass Time with Diaz, what's going on, my friend? Got a bunch of y'all in the comments. Thanks for stopping by, guys. As you guys know, and we'll get Shane back in here in just a minute. For some reason, he keeps going in and out of the stream. We'll get it figured out here in a minute. Of course, typical Monday night fashion, there's always technical difficulties. Scott, that's our running joke on this show. It's either my internet, the other person's internet. It's something every time happens. We just always fighting it. But, we'll get him back in here in a minute. But guys, real quick, make sure you follow, go follow Gieser Fishing Co. Also, go follow our fine sponsors, Big Al Speed Shine and FCLX. And I've also got, I've got my trusty bottle of Smart Soak, Smart Spray from Fish Nerd Labs. Y'all go, give him a follow as well. But anyway, we'll get here. Coleman's in the chat here. He says, "What's up, gentlemen? Had a West Point special this weekend. Caught about 30 fish and weighed in 9 pounds. Meanwhile, somebody caught 24 pounds down there. Can life get any better?" Man, that's fishing for me. That's fishing for me. Scott, do y'all get to fish a bunch of times?
So I'm not allowed on the boat in tournament days because my son has kicked me off and taken his now 16-year-old buddy. So they're the little local hammers. They do pretty good. I have to admit that I'm pretty proud of them. But I've been helping out our local. We live in a small town, and we have one of the most attended and successful working man tournaments on Thursday nights from all of March all the way to the end of June. We have 42 boats on the first 4 weeks. Even when the weather was bad, I think we still had 30. So I kind of help with that. So the owner of the tackle shop has become a buddy of mine. Obviously, I want to fish, but I'm also there to, to be the face of a company that's new and local in town. And some of those
Right.
guys aren't on social media. They have no idea. They get there, oh, what's Geezer? They see my shirt or something and go, what's that? And
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, that's my crankbait. That's my this. And they're like, oh, so that's kind of cool. So that because of that, Shane's rigging up. I don't get to go out there.
I got
I have to do 3 of them to be in the championship. So there's only
you.
7 left. So I have to be in 3.
You're
So
gonna have to go in there and say, "Hey, I gotta have a spot on this boat, buddy.
yeah. Hey, can I borrow my boat real quick?
or borrow my boat." So obviously, with when you got on the show, I saw the shirt. What boat are you running?
I'm running a Bass Cat. There you
He's a
go.
Bass
I just
Cat
happen to be
man.
my orange shirt. I am a Bass Cat man. The Bass Cat family have made some good friends just because of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, great boat.
Well, Ken Pruitt, one of our fellow Fish North Georgia guys, he is a Bass Cat man himself, and he's always at the
Yeah.
owners tournaments and all that stuff. I don't know if you know Ken or not, but he's
I
a
know
good
the
dude.
name. I've seen it pop up quite a bit.
Yep.
And I actually was going to go to the owners tournament because it was relatively close to my house in Grand Lake,
Yeah.
about 4 hours from me. And unfortunately, with the launching of the business and everything else, it didn't work out like I wanted to. But next year, we'll be at the owners tournament and having a blast with everybody.
What model Bass Cat you running?
I have a Cougar, but I have the Cougar 203. So it's the Champion 203 hole.
Yep.
So mine is I describe it as the Cadillac Escalade of boats because it just is absolutely smooth as silk and still lightning fast. It's faster than what I want, mid 70s easily.
Yeah.
With a different prop, I could probably get high 70s, low 80s if I wanted to. But Shane and I'm a big man. Shane's a big kid too, so we're both over 6 foot and chubby. Running 65, 70 is about as much as we want to do anyway. We don't even do that very often. And I live on a river system, so it is Lake Granbury in Texas, but it's not a lot of straight. So to get up that fast, we don't have the room.
I
So
got you.
keeps us safe.
Well, there you go. I mean, and look, I'm always like, I told somebody the other day, I think it may have been Eric, we were talking. He has a nitro, and I like his nitro is really nice, and it's got me thinking. I want a Blazer. Buddy of mine's got a Blazer, and they're quick. Even with my big boat, and there's quick boat, and I'm like, but the only reason I would get rid of my boat is for something honestly a little bit bigger and the speed. There's no other. There's really, I mean, my boat does everything that boat does except for go 75. I mean, and
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I
cannot
actually
carry
went.
that.
The reason I got in a Bass Cat is I went to go buy a Blazer. So went to Texas Boat Works. There was a Blazer there in my price point. Fast. They had it already booked at 84 miles an hour, the 250 on it, and I was like, oh wow, that's pretty crazy. It was
Yeah,
beautiful. Hey, look who's back.
he's back.
So, can you stay here for more than a minute?
Yeah, hopefully. Is my sound working?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're clear.
Okay.
You're clear.
Hopefully this works.
Yeah, hopefully it does. So, yeah, so we went to go buy that boat and we met the owner's son and he was like, yeah, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, this is for us. We want to fish. But my back, I have a really bad back. It's really jacked up. And he goes, have you ever thought about a Bass Cat? And I said, yeah, I've been looking. He goes, you ever heard of the 203 hybrid? And I've never even, I mean, I heard it, but didn't know what it was.
Right.
And he's like, that's the smoothest riding boat you're ever going to be in. And by God, I bought one a month later, and the sea trials that we were doing, you felt like, oh, here comes that wake. You know, you're just gonna just get creamed. And not only is it not a bump, it just there's nothing.
Really?
So yeah, and that makes me. The deck is a little more narrow than I'd like. Now that my friends have icons and all these big Bass Cats and stuff, it's like an aircraft carrier on
Yeah.
there. So we don't have the room up at the top like I'd like, but I don't know if I want to sacrifice that ride. It is one heck of a boat.
And that's honestly where I'm at with mine. I've got the older Ranger, and it's that narrow front, so you can put 2 people up there, but you're fishing sideways. You're not fishing, shoulder to shoulder off the front of the boat. So
Right,
again,
right.
that's one of the other. I guess that's a third thing that I would trade in. A little bit more room, but wider front end on it would be.
How
nice.
often do you fish with somebody on the front?
Well, it's one of those things where I go with other people more probably, but I do take people from time to time. And so
Okay.
I'm getting more into that. So like in team tournaments or something like that, or if I just go out like me and Diaz, he's in the chat here. He's a bigger dude. He's like probably 6'4", and about my size. And you're not fishing 2 guys my size on the front of that boat at all. I mean, you can, but it's just a little bit more. The only positive notes, I'm left-handed, so I cast left, so I can fish with a right-handed guy. They cast right. It's perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
that would be perfect. Yeah, I like that.
That's the only reason it works on the front of an old Ranger like that. But
Right.
because it's especially so learning and doing forward or teaching forward facing sonar, you got to have them up there. They got to be able to see what they're doing. So That's the only reason for that. Coleman says, on a positive note, him and his dad both agree they're burnt out on that lake, which is West Point, and they're going to go to Lanier. So, dude, I'll be honest with you, I'm right there with you, man. Somebody told me they caught him on West Point. I'm like, I might take a little break from West Point. And then Eric said the only time they catch 20 plus on West Point is when it's 4 of them are hybrids and catfish. I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that for sure.
Lanier is definitely on the short list to get to. I can't wait to go there.
Man,
so I gotta.
Yeah, it is a special place. That's what I'm always hollering. That's a big spot when I'm on Wedowee, because it's a big spot for Wedowee, and these Lanier guys are probably watching, going, that's bait for out here.
Yeah,
I get a kick out of it because I'm like, that's a 2.5 pound spot. That's a good spot for Wedowee, and they're like 4 pounds is a decent spot for Lanier. So
wow, yeah.
I'm just scrolling through the comments. See what's got Jeff Brazil. What's going on? He runs a Allison, so he's got the Allison boat, all speed,
fast. Oh, I know.
Yes,
those things are monsters.
Don't want to race him.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. All right, so Eric's got a question real quick. It's a question for John thing. I'm gonna post that real quick. So, is there another way to donate, Tony? Anyone got his Cash App? I don't want to add Attorney X if I can help it. I got you. I don't know of any other benefit things that are going on, Eric. I don't know for sure. There may be something that I haven't heard of. I just did the Attorney X deal. I had it on my phone from a year or two ago. So, because I've done a couple of benefit tournaments where I knew I wasn't going to participate, but I went ahead and done it anyway. So that's just how I did it. I don't know for sure. Oh yeah. I didn't warn him about the case study question. So Scott, Shane, there's a case study question that we do every week. If you've ever watched any of the shows, it's a common theme question that goes on, and it will pop up here sooner or later in the show. We'll get to it. We want to get to some more important stuff before we do that, for sure. All right. We're going to get right into questions, because we're going to give y'all, before I get to your question, because that's a great question, we're going to do a little bit of intro first, because we kind of just started BSing a little bit first. So I want to talk to these guys about Gieser Fishing Co., maybe a little background story and stuff like that, and then we'll get into some of the questions, because I knew these questions were going to start coming. So Scott or Shane, whichever one y'all want to talk about real quick, tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll get into the company side of it.
Bella.
All right. A little bit about me.
Yeah.
Is we moved to Texas about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I was into fishing before we moved, but it was definitely just kind of like a side thing. I fished once or twice a month, like if I don't have school or practice for sport or something. And I just get out there and fish with a buddy, and didn't really catch much and didn't really know what I was doing. But once I moved to Texas, had some great people kind of take me under their wing and teach me how to fish, and got me addicted to fishing, and now it's all I think about and do. And so just great people that just really spoke into me, just like not only fishing, just like how to do it, but that it's just like a great thing to do for mentally, physically, whatever, just fun thing to do, Right. And obviously, like, now having a bait company is like kind of a dream come true. It's like every fisherman would love to have their name on a box. So when we got our first bait in a box, it was a pretty surreal moment to like see my last name on a box, and it was like, wow.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, fishing is just all I do, all I think about, and there's nothing I'd rather do than be on the boat fishing, fish from the bank, fishing a pond. I just want to catch a fish and have a rod in my hand.
I got you. So you're high school senior?
Junior.
Okay.
Yes,
high
sir.
School, okay, good deal. What are your plans after high school?
Plans after high school? Hopefully fish for a living. Hopefully do this. But I mean, if that doesn't work out, I mean, hopefully maybe start another successful business, or do something in real estate world, like mortgage broker, or maybe even real estate agent, like commercial or something like that. But I'd love to stay in the fishing industry as much as I can.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell you, and I'm sure your dad has probably told you, do it while you're young, because the next thing you know, you're paying bills, and you're doing all these responsible adult things. And it's like, I could have been doing this 20 years ago. I look back on it and think, man, I could have done that 20 years ago, and I'd be 30 years into this, at this point. So, but just enjoy being a kid, enjoy being a young man, I should say. It's one of those things that, I was going to try to be a professional fisherman when I was, I was probably about your age, maybe a little bit older. I tore my card out of the Bassmaster magazine for the Pro-Am tour thing they had back then, had my money saved up, and I realized I stunk at fishing on big lakes. So, dude, listen, something I have learned this year, though, I will tell you this. This is my piece of advice as far as fishing goes, and you kind of hit on it a minute ago. Fish with a bunch of different people. And, I know your dad, he's an extrovert. He likes to talk to people and get to know people. Find that in yourself. If you don't already have it, go fish with every person you can fish with. Even the bad ones, you'll learn something from. You'll learn what you don't want to do. But I have fished with so many different people this year. I'm learning different things. I'm going, man, I can't believe I picked that up just from fishing with somebody. So anyway, that's my little piece of fishing advice for that. It's a good deal. Scott, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about you.
Yeah. So he's right. About 2 years ago, the wife and I had a real conversation about leaving California. So when people find out I'm a California guy, because I live in Texas now, so we're in North Texas. I say I'm a refugee. I was relatively successful in California. I've been a real estate broker for 27 years and built a good clientele in the city I've lived in since I was like 5 years old. It's a big, when I say city, my city was 300,000 people, which was Riverside, California, but the metropolis around there is probably like 8 million people because there's just no gaps. So
Right.
it's just the hustle and bustle, of course, the taxes and the cost of living and everything. And then to add on to that, 2 years ago, I had a 15-year-old son, and how many 15-year-olds would beg you to move out of state? Like, let's go. He wanted a slower pace of life. If you've met Shane and you know him, he's just one of those guys that just wants to chill out and he wants to fish. He wants to just be on a slow pace of life, and that was not where we lived. We lived in the hustle and bustle, and you didn't take much convincing for me to get out of the hustle and bustle. I kind of wanted to semi-retire. I didn't want to hustle as much. And the fact that Shane was an advocate, we just decided to do it. So July of 2024, we decided and pulled the trigger. And when we got to Texas, we had our money from our house and I had some other things that we were going to do. And people said, what are you going to do? I just didn't want to do real estate. And no offense to my buyers and sellers I still work with in California. I'm still active in real estate out there. So I fly out there to do my work. But I just didn't want to hustle the real estate world out here. I want to do something else, a propane. I mean, sell roofing. I don't care. Propane accessories.
I was going to say, when you said that, I thought it was King of the Hill. Propane and propane accessories.
And I feel like I could do that job. I feel like I could do any job.
Yeah.
So this is if you want me to expand on this, I can. But anyway, got to town about November. A tackle shop came up for sale, and that tackle shop was known by Shane as my tackle shop because we live in a small town and there's only a few places to buy some tackle. Well, he was going in there from the time we moved to go get his tackle because we were fishing ponds and bank fishing. And he became friends with the manager, friends with the employees, and just everybody treated him well. He's talking about the people that like built into him. Cameron Wilkerson is one of them. He was the manager there, and just all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, let's go fishing." And he's a guide. He could have got money to go out fishing, and he just took Shane with him. Like, "Hey, I'm going to teach you." And while he's fishing, he talks the whole time, coaching Shane. So it gets him even more addicted. Well, I try to buy that tackle shop. It's for sale. I'm going through meeting with the old owner. Sat down there with him, and I just did everything I could. I sharpened my pencil probably too many times. I called everybody. Well, one of the people I called about borrowing money or partnering with me is in the fishing industry. And even if you've never held any Gieser Fishing Co. products in your life, I promise you've held products that he's developed, designed, brought to the market. That's how invested and how involved he is in the market. And he's like, yeah, you don't want a tackle shop in for that price point, and here's what's going on. He goes, this is what you need to do. So it just didn't pencil out. And he says, hey, you want to talk? I've got some molds. If you want to be in the real estate or you want to be in the fishing industry and get out, I've got something for you. And spoiler alert, I bought the molds. I bought all the intellectual property. I got everything set up and dealt with the factories. That took a little over a year after everything, about 14, 15 months.
Yeah.
And we finally launched. So there's a lot of nuance in that explanation. So I'll expand wherever you want me to.
So from the time you moved to Texas, what time frame are we looking at from the time you touch down in Texas, move in to the time you realize you're going to buy a tackle shop or you're thinking about buying that tackle shop? What's that time frame? 6 months, 3 months?
Oh, we tried to buy the tackle shop about 2 months after we moved there.
Wow. So that was just one of those like, there's a tackle shop for sale. Just worked out.
It was advertising a certain amount of money, It was
Yeah.
advertised or certain sales, and the way it penciled out, it seemed like it could work. I just didn't have the money
I got
for
you.
it. And then after looking into more penciling out and everything, I don't think it was going to work for what I wanted to do. And another spoiler, it's owned by a husband and wife and their kid. So Shannon, his wife Mary, their son Cameron own it. It's called Tri Lakes Tackletown. It is like Cheers, man. Everybody knows your name. You go in there. We would go in there and hang out, and I've now become good friends with the family. Like I view them as family now.
Right.
So we hang out. We break bread together. We'll go get dinners after the tournaments, and
Right.
they were on board with me. What impressed me more about them than anything else is when I told them what I was going to do. Shannon was like, "I'm in." And it never has faltered at all. Just I'm in. So I
Wow.
launched there. So up until I think it was 2 weeks after I opened my website up, but for the first couple of weeks you could only buy them at his location.
Right.
So and today I sold a ton of them as well.
I
So if you
saw
saw my
that.
post today, yeah, some guy came in and he's a big supporter of mine now. Loves the baits, and I just happened to be there hanging out, and I'm watching him fill up a basket. So it
Hey,
was probably one of the coolest things I'd seen.
that's that's what it's all about. That's absolutely
Yeah.
what it's all about. So if maybe I don't know if you want to say it right now or not. How many stores are you in right now? Like how many brick and mortars are you in?
Only one.
Only one.
I'm only in one store and then online, and I'm in conversations with um, probably 6 tackle shops.
Okay.
One of them has 37 locations, so that
Yep.
one could make or break me. And
Right.
then I've got some other people I'm talking to for possible repping. I have to go small because once
Yeah.
people have seen them, they reached out and they're like, I want to be the. Before I even sold one bait, somebody asked to be the distributor nationwide. Like I want
Gotcha.
these, and I want your the rights to distribute. I'm like, no, because if I don't grow the right way and at the right pace, I'm gonna not be able to grow. I'm not gonna be able to do anything. So
So explain that a little bit because I think that's where a lot of folks get. I think they get wrapped around the axle with that distributorship thing because there's a lot of baits that a tackle shop cannot buy directly from a manufacturer. They have to go through a distributor. Explain that a little bit how that works a little bit. You know the ins and
yeah,
outs of it.
I'm pretty familiar. There's some big brands out there, amazing brands like Omega Bass and Lucky Craft and all your JDM stuff. Most of the time, your higher end, your stuff is made through one distributor, and you cannot go direct. And then there's brands like Berkeley who go through Pure Fishing, and there's Strike King, and there's all is that Rather Outdoors is Strike
Yes.
King.
Yep.
Yeah. So then there's GSN. It has all those brands too. All great brands, all doing big things, and they've kind of gone through these distributors to go through. What was brought to me was somebody wanted to be wholesale and then have everything nationwide, and then you would have to go to get Gieser stuff. You'd have to go through ABC and
Right.
whatever it was. So one of the reasons I would not do that, one, it's too early. I'm not going to give that up, unless you're going to make me some absurd offer, which you would be dumb to do anyway because we're not
Right.
that proven yet.
Right.
But I just didn't want to sign that up, and thank God I didn't because there's just like one of the places I'm talking to right now is 37 tackle shops.
Yeah.
If they say, man, I think your hard plastics are the best hard plastics in the world, and I want 6 of everything, all 46 of your SKUs, and I've got 223 of just these pitches. If I put silence or multi-pitch, then I'll have 600, 700 SKUs. But just what I've got right now with every color, if I was to go live, I'd have 223 SKUs. If you only went with the 46 SKUs and you got 6 of each, I would need 222 of every single bait. That's more than my minimum order, which is good, but I order in increments of 180 pieces. So
Right.
if you just order that, and now what kind of terms do I have to give you? Well, I could handle that with one store. That wouldn't even be a problem. But what happens if somebody else is doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Now I'm in the I need $1 million just to even operate. So my thing is I'm trying not to go to investors and angel investors and see that. I will one day to get to the next level. I definitely will do that. But as of right now, all the
Right.
all the leverage is on them. Is on their side. So I'm just going to go slow with my own money. I've sold my house, every investment. I've got every single thing and I've ever done in my entire life, literally in these baits. So
So this is, and that's a great point that, sometimes we miss out on from the fishing industry because we're just the end, I say just the end user, but we don't think about that. there's guys out there that are independently wealthy that can throw together a company and make it do whatever. They make it dance, pulling the puppet strings. But you are literally your whole future from here on out, from the day you signed it on out, is dependent on the quality, the craftsmanship, the word of mouth, the whatever you want to call it. It's all dependent on that. So
100%.
this is I won't say a roll of the dice because I don't think you're a roll of the dice kind of guy, but it's almost a roll of the dice kind of thing. It's like we're going to go with it,
Funny you should say that, roll of the dice. So a gentleman came in today and was talking about gambling, and he runs a big ranch and knows billionaires and millionaires because the Texas ranching world is insane. And he says, yeah, they don't gamble like that. People that gamble, we're talking about people that gamble on all these sporting events and whatnot. He goes, yeah, the big billionaires, they don't do that. He goes, the other ones do. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm a gambler. I said, mine just happens to be with lures. And he goes, yeah. He goes, but that's not a roll of the dice. So that's twice in a day that I've heard that. But
that's funny.
I'm betting. I before I even touch the fishing industry option, even with the tackle shop, I'm willing to bet on myself. I feel like I'm smart enough. I've got an aptitude for it. But I also know that every single business is people, and I love people.
You're
So
definitely a
people
people
equal
person.
perspective to me. I am a people person. I get energy talking to people, meeting people, and I feel like I could build that support. I feel like if people get to know me, they're not going to buy Gieser because of me and my son or anything like that. But the bantering back and forth. Right now, he's the cool 17-year-old and stuff like that. So there's a lot of banter, father-son banter and stuff we do. But I know that I knew that I could bank on myself if I gave people what they want to have, and that is a quality bait that they can be confident in. Because as we all know, confidence is key. So
Right.
you have a confident bait in your hand, you're going to catch fish, and I don't care what it is. It could be a jig, it could be Texas rig,
100%.
And I wanted to give people that, and I knew eventually it's one day it's going to blow up. It's going to be one of those things where people can't live with, especially other colors. Which I'll text you when we're done. The next
Yep.
color round I just set my order today for my next colors. So some of them may not work in Texas, but some will be absolutely killer on Lanier and Gunnersville and all Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. So that's the kind of things I'm going for is, filling that void for
Right.
people. So it just blows up.
I got a question here on TikTok real quick from Ashley Klaus. She wants to know, and I'm sorry, these questions on here, I can't hardly read them. Where can I find your baits? Would love to take a look. So tell us where you can find the baits at.
Yeah, thank you so much. GieserFishingCo.com. So Geezer is the name, GieserFishingCo.com. And I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as at Gieser Fishing Co. And all of those should have links to the website. And you would be just ordering right off the website, and we'll ship. We ship to the lower 48, Hawaii, and Alaska. So that's what we're allowed to do. For some reason, we can't ship out of the country yet, and we're trying to figure out why. So
there you go.
There
you go. I just put that up on the screen. I'll leave that up for a little while so you guys can see it. Just write it down, GieserFishingCo.com. They're on all the social media platforms with all their information there as well. So make sure you see that. I know it's not on the TikTok comments, Ashley, because that doesn't work that way, but GieserFishingCo.com. You can find it there. And then we're going to get to Coleman's question since you touched on it just a minute ago about colors. He had a question. I got to scroll back up. Give me 1 second because I was there at it. All right. This is the burning question. So I'm on. Do y'all make a chrome skedaddle? We'll be buying some bone ones tonight.
You're going to be buying the osteo ones or the ancestor, which is a bone and shad. Those are absolutely juice and killer. And do I have one that's all chrome? Bubba,
Yep.
Do we have one all chrome or do we have the chrome and blue?
I mean, as far as like what we have in stock right now, we don't have all chrome, but we can eventually have an all chrome.
All right.
So, no, I mean, of the 12. So there's a little bit of nuance there. We own 12 colors.
Okay.
But we only have 5 for sale right now. Just like
of the 12 colors, there's a chrome in there.
Like that. Do you have the samples somewhere?
Let me find it. I'll be right back.
All right. So while he's looking for that, I went and cut mine off the reel. This is the osteo, which is your typical bone color. It's for anybody who's looking at one. And you can see it's hard to tell on the camera here, but this thing has taken an absolute just beating from lakes like Gunnersville, Lanier, Chateau. I mean, I have wore this thing out. It's going back on the rod tonight when I get done with the show. I'll go tie it back on. But
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to make sure we asked his question, because I could bring my wife in here right now and I could tell her, what color do I want in a skedaddle? And she'll say chrome.
Really?
There's 3 colors I want. And if I had my ruthers, this was number 1, chrome is number 2, and matte black.
Matte black.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, for those shady days.
Or a matte black with some silver flash in the sides, one of the two, something like that. Just something a little on, because sometimes this is like I on Chateau Saturday, it was super overcast morning, so it didn't matter. This was perfect. But as the sun started coming out a little bit, it was not dark enough, not light enough. That matte black will just kind of give it a more of less flash to it, I guess. It's something that, because my partner Tony Watkins was with me. He was throwing a competitor's brand, and he was throwing matte black. So,
I love it. So you know what I'm developing right now is I've got a cranky, which is my square bill. Oh, put that up a little closer.
Is that the sample?
Bring that to me, Bubba.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
He's gonna bring it to me. I've got a better camera.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's got the sun. I'm developing. Him, so it kind of blows him out a little bit there.
I'm developing a matte black cranky with a chartreuse belly.
Yep.
So that one's coming my next order. Oh, look at this.
There it is. At least I know it's in the process. That's awesome. Yeah. Back it up just a little bit. There you go. Now we can see. Yeah, it makes the screen right there. Yep. Now I know it's in the process. That's all I need to see right there. Because the matte black one's fine, but the chrome is a must-have over here. As soon as the sun comes up on like Lanier and those Clearwater lakes, it's chrome. Absolutely chrome. Good deal. There's another option I would say that I would want if I had another choice, and it's only because of Clear Lakes over here, and that would be a clear one that's clear.
But we got clear.
Yeah. Should I show them the juice?
Oh God! Sure. Hey, listen, you can't do this to a man on the show now. Come on. That's good. If you got it to show, we'll show.
Yep. Here it is. Let's see.
Man, this is like opening Christmas presents.
It's like Christmas morning.
There you go.
There you go. Wow.
There you go. Is there anything on top, or just totally clear?
It's got
a chartreuse around the gill.
It's got chartreuse on the gill right there.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. Hey, man. And Ashley just said in the comments, on TikTok comments, you absolutely need all chrome if you want to sell to herring lakes. It's a #1 seller. So that's why I know that's big on herring lakes like Smith Lake, Lanier, any of the Chateau, stuff like that. Is the chrome is they're gonna buy the bone, but they're gonna have a chrome on also. Is gonna be their second.
Okay.
So that's definitely one that like I said, I got 3 in there. There were 3 or 4 in there that I'm like, maybe one day he'll come out with those, and I'll get one of those.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple other colors we've talked about back in the Bassmaster Classic when you were talking. You're like, hey, you need to make 1X. So I've got some questions about that. I got a request. One of my colors that I already have, somebody requested that it comes in matte finish for jerkbait. So I got that sample coming. Bubba, mute your microphone. We can hear all the clicking.
Oh.
I think the space bar will do it if you're on your computer.
Yeah.
The Bassmaster. Where was I going? I'm sorry.
We were talking about color change. Somebody wanted to matte finish one of the colors.
Yeah, so he wanted a matte finish on one of the jerk baits. So not only we're going to get that sample in that, spoiler, I'm going to be seeing what hypothermia looks like in matte finish as well.
Okay. Now you got me. And listen, folks, I mean, I know you guys watch my social media stuff. You see what I'm throwing. I'm throwing the hypothermia until I lost it. I lost my deep diver. But hypothermia is it's a good bait, good color. I like it, and I don't think I found it in a bad whatever. I mean, I threw the hypothermia and the cranky, the jerk bait. I would take it in the skedaddle.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a really good color for sure.
That's the only one. That's the only color that we got in everything.
Yeah.
So everything we ordered has hypothermia. So.
Exactly. It's a great. And I believe the gentleman that walked into that store today, is that what he bought mostly was hypothermia color stuff?
He bought hypothermia varicose, which is a darker purple.
Yep.
He bought a bunch of gout, which is our yellow chartreuse with black on there.
Yeah.
He bought the skedaddle and granddad shad, which is that black shad. And then I think he bought a couple of the old schools, which look like bluegill perch, panfish, stuff like that. So he had a pretty good assortment, I think.
All right, let's discuss the elephant in the room here, because we got the name Gieser. Where did you come? Because Gieser, your last name's now. Wait a minute. There's an argument. There's an argument here. How do you pronounce your last name? How is the official pronunciation of your last name?
Should we get my mom in here to like ruin things?
I mean, because she's the matriarch, so technically she's right no matter what you say. But
I'll tell you right now, the only people that have ever pronounced it Gieser are the women that married into the family. Because every man, including me, my son is Gies to all of his friends. I'm Gies. My dad was Gies. My grandpa was Gies. So we're German. The Gieser name, Gieser. You pronounce the second vowel, and then the S is kind of a Z. So if you're in Germany, you would probably have an accent of it, but it's Gieser or something like that. So it's just been Gieser. So when I'm get called up on stage at my real estate events and stuff, it's welcome Scott Gieser. Like that's what they're doing. Now, most people go, oh, that can't be your name. And it is. And that kind of, we weren't going to name it Gieser. I didn't want my last name. I'm not that big of a fisherman to say, hey, check me out. It'd be like, Bill Dance could have dancing, baits. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, because it's Bill Dance.
Right.
Gieser doesn't mean anything in the fishing industry, except it does. Except spelling it like we spell it communicates to every single fisherman, even those 12-year-olds that go, oh, look at that old Gieser over there. Like, it's funny. And the ones that have the biggest reactions and they start hysterically laughing are the 15-year-olds that get to say skedaddle or dag nabbit, and they can't wait to say those names. And that was Shane. We're at Bass Pro Shop and we're looking at all amazing baits, right? We're not going to trash any of them.
Right.
But there's one, Bass Mafia, that had some great, funny names.
Yeah.
And Zal Dangerous, that's pretty cool. The Dangerous ones play on Chris Zaldane's name, but he's also got like Mobster and like those are that kind of vein. And I was sitting down, my back hurt. We were there for 2 hours, and I just kind of sat down. And this is probably January of 25, and I'm just looking at everything and going, man, what would I do? How would I honor my dad? And how can I do this? My dad passed away. Big fisherman, loved fishing, and I'm like, oh man, Gieser, like old Gies, the Gies. And I'm like, could we do Gieser fishing? So I got on the horn with some buddies. I'm like, what do you think of this? And they're just like, oh my gosh, that's too good. Like, so immediately from right then, I went to try to buy geezerfishing.com. That was already taken. They wanted 50 grand. So I got Gieser Fishing Co. that very minute from Bass Pro Shop. I contacted my attorney the next morning at 9 a.m. and filed trademarks and started that process. Went and bought all of the Gieser baits, Gieser Fishing Co., all the URLs to go and direct, and decided to run with it. And that's when Shane said, well, our lure names, your Dag Nabbit and Skedaddle and, Whippersnapper and things like that. And we just ran with it and had a blast. So the craziest one is the Codger, which you use quite a bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to name it Gary. So my dad's name was Gary, and there was no other bigger jerk in the world than Gary. And when I told my mom that I'm going to name my jerk bait Gary, so someone could say I caught this on the Gary, she was like, he was not a jerk, and she was like very protective of him, which was hilarious because I loved my dad. He's my best friend. He died 14 years ago, but guess what? He was a jerk. 50% of the world will tell you he was a jerk. I thought it was hilarious. So anyway, just change it to Codger, and we're going to do something to honor him in some other way. But Codger beat out Gary, and I think it's worked pretty well. So
well, obviously when we talked about it at this classic, I mean, I laughed. I was like, "That's some great names of baits and stuff like that." But it didn't click. I mean, it clicked. Don't get me wrong. But I'm standing there on the boat, giving the older gentleman on the dock the baits, or I'm telling him about the baits, and I said, "This is called the Codger," and he couldn't. I cut it out of the video, but he couldn't. He thought I said other things. I said, "No, Codger, like old Codger," and I went, "Oh my gosh!" And he started laughing. He thought it was hilarious. He's like, "Oh yeah, old Codger, like me and you talking on the phone with the guy." And at first I was like, I'm gonna offend this guy calling it an old, so he got a kick out of it. He thought it was great. So
I want to go to that guy's dock and have him record stuff because he was talking like that. You're just like, he is this quintessential,
exactly
the voice that I want. Like it's so good.
That particular spot, I've been out. I mean, I've fished this lake a lot, but I've had his wife holler, "Don, come out here! This man's catching some monsters." He'll come running out there, but he's never taken that kind of time. I mean, he's always taught. He's always taught with me, but that day he sat down and he just it was. It was my pleasure to be out there and be able to fish in front of him because he was so excited about it. It was a legitimate. Yeah. And then when he told his buddy, he said, "We got to get us some of those. Where'd you get those? What store did you get them?" I was like, "Well, I know he's gonna have to go online and order them right now." So I was like, "Dude, just give him what you got." I mean, I gave him a couple of them, you know.
Oh, did you?
A couple of shallow running ones because obviously the deep divers on that particular lake, you kind of got to know what you're doing with. Otherwise, you're going to hang up pretty quick on that particular lake because it's not really a lake for deep diving jerk baits. It's just I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit, as they say, and that's exactly how I lost the hypothermia there because the fish I hung into, I never turned it. It went straight down the seawall under his dock, and he's like, "Watch out for the dock!" And by that time, poof, it was gone. So it was probably easily another 6 pounder. I know there's used to be a 7 pounder that lived under that dock. I don't know if it's still there or not, but so it was a big fish. It was a big fish because he just ran straight.
And what a great video that was. I mean, it probably got a crazy amount of views. I don't know if you calculate them or not, but man, it was such a good feel-good story, and his voice was just perfect. And you're just in the middle of fishing and monster, you know.
Yeah. The funny thing about that video, and I know people probably wouldn't believe it if I said it, but I'll say it like this: I record obviously for content. I'm constantly thinking about content ideas, but I'm also that guy that there'll be times that something happens. I go, man, I wish I'd have recorded. That'd been really funny or whatever. That particular situation, I was just concerned about the fish catches. I wasn't even thinking about the conversation that was happening. I got home and I only have one SD card per camera. So every time I fish, I have to come home and download. I don't have, because SD cards, I don't know if you've priced them recently, they're stupid expensive. You're talking about $100 a card for every card now. So I come home and I start downloading footage, and it hit me like a ton of. I was like, I've got that whole interaction on all my cameras that I was running. So I went and started getting it off there, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I clipped it, and I don't remember if I uploaded it that night or if it was the next day. But I remember thinking this might actually be a good video. And when I'm doing it, obviously the first thing you got to have a hook, right? So the only thing I could think to say is all the Karen videos we see is I just put on not all dock owners are Karens. That's all I could think of that would be a good hook, and it worked out.
And boy, did it work! Yeah,
I think it's like 200,000 or almost 200,000 views on Facebook and 45,000 on TikTok. I don't know about Instagram, maybe around the same thing on Instagram. But it's just one of those things where it's like you're always hearing negative stuff about dock owners, and this gentleman was having the time of his life, and it was just and I've had people say, man, you should get him on the boat with you and stuff like that. And obviously, if I see him out there, maybe I'll invite him out. It may be something.
What lake was that?
I don't say the name of the lake.
Okay.
I'll text you later what it is, but
gotcha, yeah.
It's a small lake, and
I was gonna say, yeah.
I've already been accused of burning the lake with social media and stuff, so I try not to say it out loud.
Man. We're in the mecca of burned lakes.
Yeah.
North Texas.
Fish a burned lake every day.
Yeah. So that's kind of one of those. I'll text you and I'll text you later and tell you what it is, but it's a local lake.
Yep.
So
one day I'm going to come visit you. You got to take me there because I want to meet the guy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. Anytime you're down this way. Ariel, I'm going to look through the questions real quick. So Eric LaRue asked, and you went over this a minute ago, but there's probably a little bit more to this question I want to ask. How did you decide to start Gieser? So we know you decided because you were going to buy the bait. So I guess I'm going to expound on his question. We know you were looking at doing the tackle shop, and the gentleman said, "Hey, here's a lure." What was that deciding factor that said this makes more sense than a tackle shop? Because it's almost I get the tackle shop thing. The margins are so slim, it's really just dumb almost. Even though I want one myself, but when you were talking about it penciled earlier, what penciled about a lure company that said, "Yep, this is worth me investing my life savings in"?
Man, well, Eric, I am certifiably nuts. So let's just start with that. So what made me pull the trigger is positive speaking from my friend that sold me the molds that has been the industry insider. When you talk to him, you feel like I feel like I can climb Everest. Like it's one of those things. You're like, yeah, I'm fat and out of shape, but he said I could do it. So I'm probably could do it. Like he makes you feel that way. but he also was the one who was advocating that I not change anything about it. And I'm kind of going on a long way to answer this, but
That's
it'll
fine.
it'll
Go
it'll
for
come
it.
back to Eric's question. Is
We got time. We
when
got time.
he's explaining about the hooks and why my baits are going to cost more to me than they would to any other competitors.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about maybe even 10x for what other competitors get their bait to their door. I would pay for mine because of my clear coats, because of my hardware, because of my hooks, because of my packaging, all these things. And he was said you could save yourself a ton of money if you get rid of these hooks and get something else, softer hooks, get rid of these eyeballs, get rid of these holographic things, get rid of these paint schemes. And he said, I'm going to advise that you don't do that. I'm going to advise that you keep it as it is, as we designed them, and
I don't
let the people decide.
I don't know his name, but thank
Oh,
you for telling him not to keep that, not to get rid of those hooks. Thank you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Thank you.
but he that's kind of the microcosm in what he was doing. But he was speaking so positive about them because the reality of it is he knew the people behind it. He knew who designed the lures. I don't even know who they all are. These are people, industry people. There's people creating molds. So like my molds are they're P20 steel molds. These are not aluminum molds that you buy somewhere. These aren't a mold that you buy. I'm going to paint my own crankbaits or whatever. These are
Right.
my design, my mold. So, but the people that made those molds and designed those CAD files, those are the ones that have used 100 different baits with different sculpts, and they weren't running true. They didn't do things. I mean, example, because we're interviewing here, I'm gonna go shameless plug. Like my cranky, my square bill is an airfoil carbon bill molded into the plastic, and the eyelet touches the plastic and touches the carbon bill. So when you're pulling that through, you have a good enough, sensitive enough reel rod, you could feel everything on that when you're bouncing it off. You can know if it's a rock, if it's a stump, and if literally I was using it the other night, and I went, oh, and Shane said, "You got something?" I said, "Nope," and I just let my bait go backwards,
Mm-hmm.
and then I reeled it in, and I knew I hit a stump, and if I
Yeah.
would have kept reeling, it would have locked it in there and I lost it. But I
Yeah.
let it go back. It acted like balsa wood. It bounced backwards and up a little bit, and I cranked it over that log. Those are the types of things that I didn't know off the top of my head until he kind of explained. And then really all of those, the microcosm of him and those explanations, and me with a desire to do something with my son. And my wife is as involved as we are. She'll never be on this camera. She's back, she's somewhere. You'll never see her. She may come to ICAST, which is
Good.
crazy. I told her
Good.
maybe she go thrifting with your wife or something. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so she may come to ICAST, but it's just the three of us. She does all the logistics and stuff. Shane and I are supposed to do content, testing, designing new stuff, and he's an only child, and we're obviously a very close family. But man, when I have an opportunity to get a business and do it with him, I like I said, I think I would have thrown it at anything at the
Yeah.
time because I just knew where my money, time, energy, and effort was going to be. I'm 46 years old. I have time to do it. So thank God, and I mean that God's perfect timing and everything. Thank God that the fishing industry opportunity came to us because there really is no day of work. The only, like you said, stressing about content. I stress about posting every single day
Yeah.
because if you don't, you get, the algorithm gods don't like you.
Yep.
So we sacrifice our mental health for the algorithm gods, and we do
Yeah.
a
Trust
video,
me.
and that's about what we do. So, but that's why I want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, so while we're touching on that, tell us about what hooks do the codger have on them?
So all of my hard plastics that are not top water all come with Mustad, KVD, triple grips, wide gap. Um, they are super good hooks. Most people buy our competitors' products, and don't mean to knock on any of them. They're great
Nope.
products. I have 100 of them, or maybe more, but most of them change the hooks out because they're softer metal and they bend out, and or they are only good for a couple of fish. And but the maybe the bait's in great condition. Well, those hooks cost a lot of money. I think they're selling six of them right now. Are selling for $9 retail.
Mm-hmm.
So I happen to have to own a bunch of them for my factories to put them on there.
Yep.
But they're absolutely amazing hooks. My top water, the Skedaddle, has VMC black nickel hooks.
Yep.
So yep, super
Now,
strong.
when we talked about the classic, one of the things when you told me about the jerk bait, the codger, and you told me I looked at the hooks and I immediately knew they weren't typical. And I looked and you said they were they were the triple grips, and that's what I buy as much bulk as I can. I keep them in the boat for changing out on jerk baits only. That's exactly what I do.
Really?
I buy
Wow.
the 25. I think you can buy the 25 pack. I think. Anyway, I can't remember if it's 25, but I buy multiple packs of them, and they stay in my tackle box, and so it's not a big secret. I've said on the show before. Everybody used to ask me what my favorite jerkbait was, and I used the Berkeley Stunna in MF Tennessee Shad. That's the one that I have caught them on every lake. That was one that I always loved, and their fusion hooks, they're really good. But I think I bought 14 or 16 of each, the deep diver and the shallow diver from Academy about 2 years ago. They had a sale on them for $8.99. And I went, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy every one of these. Well, sure enough, the first time I threw it, I caught a fish, and as soon as I hooked the fish, it was missing one of the treble hooks was missing a barb, was missing the whole bend was gone. It was broke right there at the weld. Well, I thought, okay, that's just a fluke. Every one of them broke, every bait. So they must have had a bad run of hooks, and instead of taking them off the shelf, they just marked them to half price. So I got a bunch of bad hooks. So now all my mustad triple grips are all down to nothing. Well, not really, because I quit using them, but I quit using the bait. But anyway, so that when you said you already had those hooks on there, I was like, well, dang, I'm already saving money by buying the codger, because I don't have to change the hooks out until they dull.
You're welcome.
So yeah, that's why I said whoever told them to keep the hooks, thank you, because it saves me a bunch of money in the long run. So I like it. And you got guys in here like Mr. Jeff Brazil. He said the Ancestor and Granddad Shad looking pretty good on that skedaddle.
So agreed.
What's the Ancestor is a little bit more of a chromier or silver color, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, it's that bone. It's that bone with that like chrome in the middle. I think you posted a picture of it.
That's right. Yep, that's right. I'm thinking Granddad. Granddad's the one that's got more of the silverish gray in it, right?
Yeah, that's like the more
and black back.
Yeah, I had them backwards. That's right. I had them backwards. Because I've got the Ancestor and I've got the Osteo.
That's our Granddad Shad. Let me see if I can
you got a little bit of sun behind you. There you go. Yep. That's a good color too, man. That's a really good color.
Mm-hmm.
I like it a lot. And then Eric says he loves selling stuff. It's the most fun way to make a living. Talking about selling stuff earlier. So yeah, there you go. And we're way up in the comments a little bit. And then Eric sent me a text, or he sent me a message last night. And if I had it pulled up, I would read it. But it was basically like, okay, you got me. I bought my skedaddles. He made an order. He ordered his first Gieser 2 days ago. I got tired of Tony wearing me out with him.
Yep, he did. So, I recognize the name. Thank you so much, Eric. Yep.
Yeah. So he and I, we're the one that did it. We're the Lanier video we did where I went from the popper to the skedaddle and started catching fish on the skedaddle. So he's the guy with the nitro that I fish with quite a bit. So
yes,
good dude, and loves to. He likes to buy lures as much as the next fisherman. So he bought him some. So
our favorites, yeah.
Eric's got another question here. This you may or may not want to answer. It's up to you. How many molds did you buy to start with, and do you have any other molds on the horizon?
That is a great question. So it's a loaded question. So my Dag Nabbit is a crankbait. So do I have one mold? No, I technically have 3 molds. So again, my bills are molded into the mold. So they're all part of that mold. They put all the plastics, they get everything together. They're not glued in after. It's all part of the process. So because of that, my the Dag Nabbit, that's an 8-footer, is its own mold. It's a 60 millimeter body, and it's got that lip on it. My 12 and 15 footers are 70 millimeter bodies, but they have very different bills. So that's technically 3 molds. Right. So, and then of course that's the 3, and then I've got my codger has 2 molds, my cranky has 2 molds, and my catawampus has 2 molds. So yeah, I've got a popper coming. Can't tease that yet too much, but it is, I know. It's hopefully going to be one of the most desirable ones. Like, let's just call it like that. Mega Bass is one of my motivations. They're one of the best company out there. They make amazing products, colors, and everything else. So I feel like mine, I go after that type of quality. Right. And my popper is going to be like something that's going to be catching eyes like that as well. So that's coming. I've got some friends and I were talking about a frog. So we were going to do a frog with a possible different rear end because there's a company out here called Hags. I don't know if you know Hags. They've got a frog called, yeah. I know. So Hags has an outlier frog, and they have little paddle tails.
Yep.
And most people don't like that, and they kind of make fun of it, like, oh, who wants to do that? I want the whatever those are, the tinsel or whatever.
The skirt, yeah.
But man, that skirting, yeah, that outlier frog, you can go slow or fast, and we love it. And we were trying to do something similar but different, because similar meaning making a noise and
Yeah.
having some sort, but I'm having a hard time making it work. So, but we are going to make a frog and a popping frog on there. As far as other models and stuff, to be honest with you, we would like to start tweaking some of our current models. You know, like I would like to make my catawampus into a flat-sided. Um, I need to have a carbon bill in there, but we need to rework the molds because I need the front end to be a little thicker to be able to put that bill and mold that bill in. So stuff like that. You know, Shane, he wants a different size codger, so he's gonna. How many millimeters do you want yours to be?
I want a junior, like 97 millimeters.
I was going to say a 90 or 100. I was just fixing to say, please say 100 or 90, please.
Yeah. So I want 75 because I want it to be way different from the 110. He wants it to be he wants, obviously matching the junior 110. So we want to do that as well. The problem is those molds obviously cost a lot of money. So those are going to be different little steps, and some time to get there.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we'll have them.
I bet with the mold change, or whether it be a change or a complete redesign or a new idea altogether, that's probably not a cheap run to do. I mean,
no.
And I don't know, because so we had Rob Williams on here with Spot Choker, and he and I have talked quite a bit about molds, and he does lead pour molds, stuff like that, and the money he's told me that just goes into the mold to try to get one to where you can actually pour it. You know what I mean? It's not cheap.
Nope. And I'm almost I think a lead mold would have to be a P20 steel, right? They couldn't do that in aluminum, or else it'd melt it. Or
I don't know.
I just know my molds are more than people's houses, and the good news is when you get it right, they're good for 50, 60 years. They won't wear down for a long time. And I could have saved a ton of money and redid them in aluminum, and probably would have to do it every few years because they just don't hold up.
Right.
So there's the positive spin is they're going to be good. The bad thing is that's what costs the money. So,
yeah. Well, and unfortunately the economy with the fuel prices and stuff's not helping anything when it comes to price of stuff right now. So
correct. Yep.
That hurts a little bit. But Jeff said he's going to be ordering some when he gets home Wednesday evening. He said he likes that skedaddle. And again, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm not just, as soon as he told me he had this coming, I said, I want one. As soon as you get them in the mail, I want one. And he made it happen. And I knew what they were capable of doing. I knew, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know I'm going to catch them on that thing. So it just worked out.
And you actually fish here so much faster than I do. And I've not been able to get out there yet. I was there for 30 minutes the other night, but I have not been able to get out there. I'm hopefully going to go tomorrow. But you really work yours faster. You actually you've kind of changed my life watching you do it.
On the skedaddle?
So I'm going to do it. Yeah.
So, and the funny thing is I'm editing a video right now where I sit on the boat and talk about the skedaddle quite a bit and how I work it and stuff. I've actually slowed down.
Have you?
I usually work a walking topwater bait very aggressive to get that full popping action and diving and dipping. If you really, and when I do the Chattoog video, unfortunately I only had it from the back camera. I didn't have my net camera on yet when we caught that big one. I'm actually having to stop myself and make myself pause. I'll walk it and then pause and just let it sit for a second. And that's something that I got and I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. It's part of my video, but. So when we fished Lake Notley Fishers of Hope tournament, Rob Rablowski, who was NPFL pro, he came in second, I believe, on that tournament with 20-something. Him and Danny Pruitt came in second. And basically his trick was on the popper was popping it once and letting it sit. He said, eat a sandwich, smoke a cigarette. He said, just let it sit. And those big fish were coming up just devouring it. So when I took it out the first time, of course, I went back to walking it like crazy, like I normally do. And I told myself, well, I was using the popper, honestly, on Lanier. And I was just pop it, let it sit. So then I started doing that kind of with the skedaddle a little bit. Pop it, let it sit. Pop it, let it sit. And I still work a little faster sometimes. Now, with that being said, the later in the day it gets, the faster I work it because I'm tired. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's get this thing happening, But the first big fish I caught on it, well, the second one, that 5-pounder at Wadowee, the largemouth, I had to work it really fast to get it back to the fish. I didn't want to shoot it across the top of the water because I was afraid it was going to spook the bass that were moving. Because I could visually see those fish. So I worked it just like walking bait to them, and once it got to them, I stopped it and kind of popped it a little bit here and there. But yeah,
I saw that you stopped, like just pop,
yep.
pop, and you're done. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
it's fun.
stop and I'll pop it. I'll work it, going back and forth. But
Yep.
I'll basically do this about that speed.
Yep.
And then I was watching you and you were moving yours, and I was like, oh man. And so I threw it for 30 minutes, and I was like, I did fast, I did slow, I did fast. It was unfortunately there's no fish in that lake on Friday,
really,
but
that's the one thing I do like about the skedaddle is that you can work it super slow and still get a really good gliding action, or you can work it real fast and get that choppier action, but you don't get a blowout with it. That's the one thing I like about it. You don't get that just full on just either, because like some of them, if you work them real fast, it just pulls straight to you. It's just going to come out to you. You're not going to get that walk. This one, I don't know if it's because of the popper style mouth that's on it or not, but and since we're talking about the skedaddle, I'll just go ahead and tell you something else. I noticed on Saturday that I didn't know what was going on with it, but I'm like, it wasn't spitting as much as I thought it should. I broke one of the bills.
So you broke the lip off.
But it worked perfect because it was spitting just enough to not be aggressive, but it was walking like it should and just blowing just enough. But when I tell you, I throw these things on Chattoog, I was throwing them into the rocks.
Bounce off it, yeah.
The largemouth were sitting as shallow as they could get up against boulders. And if you didn't get it to the boulder, you weren't catching that fish. I was throwing a foot short or, 6 inches to the left or right, they wouldn't touch it. But as soon as it hit the water where they were at up against the rocks, they were hammering on it. So
was there a cold front or something?
It was a little cooler. It had been a little cooler up there. We had that rain came through and it knocked the temperature just a little bit. But for whatever reason, they were sitting right. If you threw it a foot or too short, you weren't catching those fish. So that's how I broke it off, was throwing it against the rocks. But it is what it is. That's part. But like I said, it still didn't affect the walking action. It just didn't spit as much as it probably should have. But it worked perfect, Eric said he ordered 2 codgers and 2 skedaddles. He sure did. Eric wants to know, have y'all fished OHIB yet?
No.
I can't. Yeah. Go ahead, Bubba.
We're going to. We need to catch some giants out there, but I'd like to get a guide trip or something out there just so I can get a giant, but they're pretty expensive. But yeah, we definitely need to go out there and ASAP and see if we can get some big ones that eat a skedaddle or something.
So Hill Country Hammers, they got out there, and my buddy went with them a couple of weeks ago, and they just missed the spawn. They just missed it. And so he said they're going to set it up for next year to go. They're trying to get a double digit on OHIV with them. And I don't know if you're familiar with Hill Country Hammers. They got the big decks that you can watch, you can see down on, stuff like that. They're one of the bigger guides around Texas, I think, or some of those areas over there. I'm not sure exactly where at. G4 Outdoors, Mr. Doug Rice said he got his skedaddle Monday. Can't wait to throw it. And he fishes Wedowee, Allatoona, things like that. So he's going those big spotted bass. He'll be up for sure.
Love it. War
Eagle the best. Thanks for stopping by, dude. He's got a good question. How hard is it to get your lures for sale on Tackle Warehouse?
Seemingly impossible. So
really?
I've not even gotten an email back from Tackle Warehouse. So I sent them studio shots of my baits and everything I was going to do, and just said, hey, let me know. Let's get a conversation started. How many SKUs do you need? What do you need to do? What kind of terms? They could have said, hey, you need 200 SKUs and that we need 90-day terms, and I could have built into that, but unfortunately, I've not heard back. And I think it's because I'm too small now. I don't have enough to offer. So when I have my full catalog, my Catawampus, Cranky, and Dag Nabbit will have 23 colors. My Codger will have 25 colors. And then my Skedaddle will have 12 colors when I'm at full capacity. That's 223 SKUs, plus the colors I'm going to be adding,
Now, I've got a question. This is just for my pure, just inquisitive mind about stuff. Is there ever too many colors? I mean, because I look at baits sometimes and I'm seeing them going, we don't need 62 colors of a bait. I mean, is there really that need for that many colors, or is it just to be a player in the game at this point?
Well, it's funny you should say that. If I was only selling to North Georgia, I would only have a few, And I can tell you right now, North Texas is going to be very different from where you're at for what we
Right.
throw and everything. Stained waters, Idaho up to that Canada, the spot, the smallies, they're going to be different colors. So I do know for a fact already that I'm going to end up buying my minimum order of a color, right, to have in
Mhm.
my stock, and I'll probably never reorder that color for as long as I own the company.
Wow.
I would never sell 180 of them. And there's another color, hypothermia, that I'm
Yeah.
probably going to be ordering 18,000 a year and still going to be running out of them. I think it's going to be that big of a difference.
Really.
But the thing is, and I made this joke, and I know you're in Georgia, so now it's a little too close to home, but I've always said there's a couple colors that are going to be for that lake or that pond in Georgia. And those are who we're going to buy them slowly but surely. Maybe there's a tackle shop out there that's going to do it. And I've always said that as kind of an explanation. Obviously, now you're from Georgia, so it's not only I'm not saying it because it's you, but that's just kind of what I've said. And
Yeah.
Washington, Oregon, California, those lakes are very different. There was somebody I was selling a house in California. There was a guy with a bass boat in the garage, so of course we became buddies and started talking. He gave us baits, a Yamamoto. What was that bait called, Bubba?
The what was it?
Put
I'd
it
have
this
to
way:
look it up.
nobody in Texas even knew. It looked like a little squid, Yamamoto squid looking thing,
Hmm.
and Ika, IKA from Yamamoto,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
everybody in California uses an Ica, and they love any color green, light green, dark green, watermelon, whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
got to be green. So he gave me a package. As us anglers, we always, hey, try this, try that,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Came back to my tackle shop and showed my buddies, like, never even heard of it. To the tackle shop owners,
Right.
looking like, no idea. And that was a very eye-opening experience for me to go, wow, that is how
Ica.
different
Yeah.
the Ica, yeah. It's how different certain areas of the United States are that are going to be buying my products differently.
It's funny you say that because I have buddies that own tackle shops, and I'll go in there and say, "Hey, do you have this, or can you get that?" And they're very not standoffish, but they're very cautious about bringing a certain line of something on because they're like, "Well, we don't know if it's going to sell here." Everybody wants a green pumpkin red flake, or they want something with a little blue in it for the herring lakes or whatever. So they're very cautious about buying certain things. So I guess the color requirement is there. It just I'll scroll through Tackle Warehouse. I look at the different colors and, like, no offense, but I get to like the clown colors. I'm like, who buys that? Like, I'm not going to throw that thing. I mean, maybe I should. I don't know, but it's like I get to
Yeah.
that point. And you've got a color in one of the skedaddles. I'm like, I probably would never throw that color in the skedaddle.
Quilt.
Yeah, I would never probably ever throw that one, but somebody
And
must, because you spent
you know who's
money.
going to do it?
Who?
It's these striper guys. These striper guys in the summer.
There you go.
They won't be able to keep them in. And I'm just like, well, no one bass fisherman's going to buy that. And the striper guys are like, oh, I can't wait to throw that.
Well, good.
That's just, yeah.
Hitting that part of the
Yeah.
market. That's a smart thing to do. I do know
Exactly.
the Lanier striper do like the I can't remember if I was throwing the Osteo or if I had the Ancestor on at that time, but they do like it on Lanier. So we got in a school of them for sure. And then
So
Coleman,
I just got a text from my little hammer kid named Chapo.
Chops.
So El Chapo's watching live. So
good
what's up, El
deal.
Chapo?
Heck
But
yeah.
also Coleman, thanks for the order, because I literally just got an order from Coleman on here.
Yeah, I just was about to pull his comment up. He said, "Yeah, I'll be ordering one of those LOL West Point special." There you go.
Yes, yep. And then Hunter Haran just ordered something. He's probably on here because he's from Georgia
Heck yeah.
or Alabama. And then another one from Alabama, JT Barrett. So
Good deal.
I know that they've got to be in this live. So thank you, fellas.
Good deal. Let me see. I got some questions here on
That's
TikTok.
fantastic.
So Ashley's got a question. TikTok's hard for me to do because the questions blend in with the background. So she's got a question. I'm going to ask it real quick. It says, off subject completely, who do you think the best Elite Series angler rookie is? So I'll be honest.
Whoa, Bubba.
Oof. I mean,
That's Bubba's realm.
as far as rookie right now, I'm pretty sure Fisher Anaya is in his rookie season right now.
Yeah.
Fisher Anaya is probably number one for me. But next
Yeah.
year, Dylan Nutt coming into the Elite Series after the Classic win, I think he's going to be winning more and more. And and probably upsetting a lot of the live scope hating crowd and whatnot. But yeah, I think as far as right now, Fisher and I for sure. But next year, I think Dylan Nutt's going to start his dominating career for sure.
Yeah. He's I would have to 100% agree with Anaya being number one as far as the rookies go, in my opinion. And I'm nobody important when it comes to opinions like that, but I would agree with you 100%, Shane. I think Fisher and I is like the top right now.
Yeah.
I haven't, I hate to say it, but I haven't kept up. I watched a little bit of the Elite Series this weekend. And obviously we got the Georgia guys in there. We got the Emil Wagners, the Paul Marks, who won on Murray. So we, big rooting for those guys for sure. Just a great group of guys, and they do a heck of a job on those herring lakes. I mean, they put an absolute school together. Lesson on that deal. Chrome is key, is what Eric says for sure. Then Eric, we were talking about black earlier. Black, sexy shad with a chartreuse line on the side. Chrome and bone are what we need here in everything. So that'd be the codger, the everything. They want that. That's what he wants. So everybody's got their wants and desires in there. I mean, there's always, and the matte finishes. I'm telling you, that most anything matte's gonna, especially if it's like the hypothermia matte, would be just on point for sure. I 100% agree with that. And then Coleman has the really important question. You answer the question about a chrome. When will the chrome be available?
Well, it's funny you should say that. So this was not on my radar until this podcast. So the fact that you want it, that is a big deal. You obviously use it, you're good at it, and you know what's going to be there, and you know the kind of lakes are going to want it. So I'll probably add that in the clear, and probably have that in the next 60 days or so.
Okay.
As far as the other colors that are coming in, it all depends on how business goes. So I've got my samples that are on the way. I'll show them to you at ICAST. You'll be able to feel, touch, and see them. If I have enough, I'll leave you with a couple at ICAST. Okay. But I'll kind of show that. And I got some gold ones coming. There's some gold. There's a lot of shad stuff. That's kind of where the lowest hanging fruit for me is going to be. That shad look and there's been a couple. You said that clown, like that clown color. That's one of my colors that I've got for a codger, and I'm telling you, it's the last one I'm going to do. And it's probably going to, I have to buy 180 of those to sell 3, and I think it's going to be a joke.
I'll be honest with you.
I don't know.
Now that I'm talking bad about it at first, in the codger, I don't know if these spotted bass lakes might not eat a clown color up. I've never tried it. That may be something I have to give a shot.
Really?
So listen, I'll tell you something else, guys, in the comments. We were talking about, you said gold a minute ago. So I had a buddy of mine paint a lure, a jerk bait, and I told him I wanted a special color painted. So he said, "What color do you want?" Baby carp. I want it to look like a carp. I think I might have showed you the picture of it. Okay. I can't remember if I showed you that picture.
You did. I was about to say, well, yeah.
Here's the funny thing. The day that I was putting on the show for the gentleman, this didn't make it to the video. So fast rewind about a year and a half ago when this gentleman painted this bait for me. I lost it in front of that man's dock. While I'm doing that video and after the fish catches, I hang into something. It's a ton of fishing line. And my bait, my hand-painted, custom-painted bait is on the other end of it. I don't remember breaking that much line off. I don't know if it was all my line or not, but I got that lure back. It's in my shop right now. I got to clean it up, put some new hooks. The hooks are completely rusted off of it. But, yeah, I actually got the bait back. So that was pretty cool. It happened. So, but baby carp catches fish on clear lakes during the carp spawn.
Okay.
A lot of carp on our lake too.
Do what now?
There's a lot of carp on our lake. Maybe it worked.
I have caught a bunch of spotted and large spots and largemouth on the carp colored hand painted bait. So that's just another little secret bait that it wasn't really a secret, but the guy he showed it off on his social media once he painted it for me. But yeah, it's a good color too. Eric said he's got 2 codgers coming in hypothermia, and then Steve Guthrie Fishing says if it ain't chrome, leave it at home.
Those are.
Oh yeah.
There's that clown one.
I don't know, man. You never know. Some strange colors catch fish for sure.
Yep.
And then Eric said that's a top secret on that lake for sure. Coleman had just said he ordered a skedaddle and a dag nabbit.
If it ain't chrome or bone, leave it at home.
And so I want to talk about that real quick. Number one, thank you to the viewers that are watching this show that are putting in orders. because it was something I wanted to bring up earlier. And I know Scott, I know Shane are very appreciative of it, but it's something we talk about on the show. And we all, we sing praises when we're on talking about bait stuff, support your local fishermen, support your local tackle shops, things like that, support your local bait makers. But it's a real deal to support a company that is, number one, bootstrapping it, and they're putting it out there. They're not a mega company that's, what do they call those, investment companies that are buying up baits and stuff, reselling them, whatever.
Private equity.
Private equity. There you go. By buying on this show, you're supporting a family-owned business who literally have their whole life savings invested in it. So that, number one, I thank you. That means a lot to me, because I'm not invested in Gieser Fishing Co. as far as monetarily goes, but Scott's a friend, and I say that I get cold chills. We met, and I know I've said it before, I was literally fixing to do a selfie video with Bill Dance, of all people, an icon, and this man grabs my phone and starts recording it. And I'm like, well, he's got my phone. Here we go. We're fixing to do this. And that means more to me. That meant more to me in that moment. And we have been friends ever since. It was on Instagram, friends, whatever. And we started talking again here, last 6, 7, 8 months ago, whatever it's been now. But supporting them, and listen.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what I was going to do. That was everything. ICAST. I met you on possibly the worst day of my life. I had met with our factory. Shane was there with me. We met with our factory that morning.
Okay.
And found out that we weren't getting our samples, found out we weren't launching, found out that everything was delayed. And we walked around there with my parent company I own is called 3S Outdoors. So my badging, I didn't even want to put Gieser out there because the trademark wasn't done. I didn't have all the stuff needed. I needed to go to market and finish the trademark within 30 days of that, which thank God I did. And I got my trademark, everything's ready to go. But that day it was rough. And you know who else I sat down with that day? I've talked to him. We talked to him for 30 minutes, but he owns Copper State tackle shop. So the guy's from Copper State, one of the most famous tackle shops in the world. He's across the way. He's a bass cat dealer. He starts talking about the big bass cats called the Jaguar. And I'm like, and I keep picking my head up. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? And I was going through drama. I'm texting my wife. I'm doing some real estate drama. I'm doing all these different things. And it turns out the guys from Copper State are right across the table from me. We talked for 30 minutes, and I couldn't tell what I was doing.
Dang.
I couldn't tell them, hey, we're going to be friends in a year or whatever. I've never met the guys yet, but I can't. I hope to sell my products in there one day. But that was that day. And then we met you. Like I tried to stay positive all day. We were there for the week, and we met a lot of great people and a lot of great friendships started there. But that day was like, yeah, bad things are happening. So everything was delayed.
Everybody says God has His time. It's not our time; it's His time.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a testament to that, because it's happening. It's working. ICAST is right around the corner. The name is out.
Just got my rooms.
Yep. Did you? Okay. Good deal.
Just got the room.
Good deal. It's all up from here. And what I was going to say a minute ago, when you were saying that, and the reason the tackle warehouse question was really important a minute ago. So when we're doing the live well, and the weigh-in, we've kind of done it a little bit. When I was running the boards for the live well show, I have watched people say a bait. I would pull it up on Tackle Warehouse while we're doing the show and watch it sell out live. I've seen that happen from the show, not from this show, but from the live.
Well, come on, Tony Calm listeners, listen to him.
So that's why I thank the viewers for buying, because that's the power of the viewers of this show, and Coleman and Eric and whoever else bought lures while we're doing this live.
TJ,
I appreciate that. Y'all don't know how much that means, because that just shows me the proof of concept. I've seen it happen before, where I was fixing to order it on Tackle Warehouse, had 20 or 30 in stock, and then I go back to order after the show's over. I was like, well, there goes that. And I don't remember what bait it was, but we've had several guys do it, and I can tell you, you will not be disappointed in any of the baits you buy from Gieser. They are definitely quality baits, and they fish really, really well. There's baits where when you lose one, you're like, dang, I lost it. Let me go get and tie another one on. When I lost that hypothermia the other day, y'all don't have that conjure. Y'all don't have me. I was like, well, I mean, there's no sense in getting mad about it. I did it, and it would really upset a lot of folks if you knew what I throw it on. I throw it on a 7-foot medium rod with 8-pound test line. There's a reason.
8 pound?
Yes, sir. I've I've caught my PB on 8-pound test line on a deep diving jerk bait on that lake. So
tell us that. Let's now we're gonna try it. We're gonna set
when
that
I
up.
was learning to fish a jerk bait, everybody's like, I hate a jerk bait, and I fish a lot of deep, clear lakes. Well, you get let's say a 10-foot diving jerk bait, and you got it on 12-pound line, you're not getting 10 foot out of it. It's not going to happen. Or if you some of these baits sink, some of these jerk baits will sink. Well, it'll take a month of Sundays to get down there when you're fishing one. And there's some timber on Wedowee that you've got to let it sink down. Them bass are sitting at the top of that timber, and they won't move until you get it to a certain depth. And the Berkeley stunner will sink, so I'll sit there and wait and let it sink. So 8-pound line gets me the full, as fast as I work it or the way I work it, will let me get the depth that the bait says it'll do. And I can, as long as your drag's set up right, and you have to check your line constantly. I retie a million times, it feels like, but I've had great luck, and I've boat flipped with 8-pound line on there like a dummy. But it just, to me, it gives me the best action. The bait, if they claim it has a certain action, the 8-pound gives me that action, and it gives me the depth that I'm looking for. And if it's a sinking bait, it gets down there a little bit quicker. So that's my reason to do it. A lot of folks call me crazy for it. It's not an ego thing. So, I caught it on 8-pound line. I just feel like I've got a lot more confidence with that thinner line than I do a thicker 12-pound. And I'm actually thinking about going to 12-pound or changing my line. I've been throwing, I won't say, I throw Seaguar and Vizix, and sometimes you're constantly having to check that line to make sure you don't have any kind of little nick or anything in it, because you will break off really quick. And when it hit that dock, the old man actually says, watch out around that dock, he'll break you off. About the time he did it, I felt it go pop, and I went, crap. Because as soon as it touched the dock, it was gone. It was gone. So,
yeah, we use the same line. We used 12 or 15 on that as well. I think I'll try an 8. I don't know if we could mimic a medium rod. That was a little more shocking than the 8-pound.
That's what we
just use a medium 7-foot.
So
what's that?
We use a 6'8" medium.
So mine will range between 6'8" and 7 foot, depending on what I buy. So the rod that I found the best, I used to use a Vengeance, Abu Garcia Vengeance, because I got it for like $20 at Walmart. It was on sale, and it was a medium rod, and it worked really good until I bought the 7-foot Falcon from Walmart, the HD rod. It is like a noodle on the end. It's like a whip. So when you're working that jerk bait, it's a lot more forgiving if you've got a bad action. Like I'm over aggressive with a jerk bait, so that whipping action, it takes some of my over aggression out and in the rod itself. So I'm able to work the jerk bait still effectively. It doesn't blow the jerk bait out, doesn't shoot it left and right. And that's another thing. So let's talk. We're talking jerk baits. I'll go over this. When you're working a jerk bait, they'll tell you on a deeper diving jerk bait, you don't have to twitch the rod as much because that bill's longer and it will cause it to do what it'll blow out or whatever. With that 7-foot medium rod, with that really whippy action in it, and the 8-pound line, I can be as aggressive as I want. It does exactly what it needs to do. It bounces, it twitches, it flutters, whatever you want to call it. I feel like it's the best setup for me. So it's just something I've worked on. And again, I do it different than everybody else. Danny's actually on the show. We've talked about it in the past. I want mine to grind in the bottom like a crankbait. So that deep diving bill.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're kind of
it's hitting. Yeah. It's digging down the bottom. It's hitting as soon as it hits the bottom. I let off and it flutters back up or does whatever it does, and it just drives them stupid. And I've done it on Lanier. I've done it on Wedowee. I've done it on the lake here at the house. I've done it every lake I've ever fished with it. That's the way I work it, and it works everywhere I've gone. So that's my jerk bait how-to for tonight.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna try it. We're gonna do it.
I fished with so many guys that we got on the boat, and they said, I hate a jerk bait. I can't stand a jerk bait. I can't stand it. And I was like, there's got to be something they're doing wrong. And maybe I'm not doing it right, but I just feel like I've figured out a way that works for me. I've got very much confidence in it, and I'll do it with every. Trust me, that dang codger was digging in the bottom that day. I can promise you that right now. it was digging.
Yeah,
it was big.
Yeah, the owner of our tackle shop, they're both, the dad and the son are jerk bait freaks. They are all about the jerk baits. And Cameron, the son, he's actually fished my jerk bait down to 15 feet.
Yep.
So he's using shooter line, so very little stretch. Yep. And then he cranks it down at it's that 6 to 9. It's the deep diver, and he'll get it there and he'll suspend and he'll do it again and do it again. And he's watching it 15 feet, bouncing, kind of crankbaiting it, and it'll suspend. It won't come back up. I won't think it'll stay down there too long, but he was able to get it down there pretty well on a non-stretchy line. I don't know what pound test. Maybe Bubba, do you know?
I mean, I'm guessing he's fishing 12, but that shooter is super, super thin. Yeah. So even though it's 18, even if it's like 18 pounds, it's going to be as thin as like some others, like 10 or 12-pound line.
And that may be what I need to go is
Needle
try some
thing.
shooter. I haven't done the shooter yet. That might be what I need to try, something different.
Or just Tatsu if you want to stick with Seaguar.
Whew. And Tatsu, boy, you gotta have a wallet for Tatsu.
Shooter is only a little bit cheaper.
So the shooter
is like is the same diameter, but it's a little cheaper. But not
I fished with
much.
I think you saved $3.
Yeah, I fished with a buddy on Lanier for that Toys for Tots tournament, and he handed me a rod, and he goes, "Yeah, it's full of Tatsu, like the whole reel's full, no backing, nothing,
The whole thing."
But he's I don't know if he's sponsored or if he's got friends in high places or what, but every one of his rods has got Tatsu on. I'm like, dude, you're killing me with this. I mean, of course, he also
give it to me.
He's also the same guy.
Yeah, let me back.
He handed me a rock crawler rod and said, "Here, throw this." I threw it. He goes, "How do you like that?" I was like, "Oh, it's a great rod. It feels really good." He goes, "Yeah, it's about a $1,500 setup." I took it and put it back on the deck of the boat. I said, "Don't ever do that to me again." I fish with $25 reels sometimes, dude. Don't do that to me. He's like, "Oh, come on." I said, "Man, I can't afford to replace it if I break it. Don't hand me a $2,000 setup and just laugh about it."
Or the other perspective is you go out there with those $1,000 setups and you got to come back to yours and you're like, "Oh man," and then you're like, "Oh, I can feel all the grinding."
Yeah. Listen, if I showed you the raw video of some of those skedaddle videos, you'd be like, "Dude, what's wrong with your stuff, man?" I'm rough on equipment, like very rough. I buy $69 reels for a reason because I know how I am. I'll just But the bad thing, the one that's making the sound, and you don't really hear it in video because I cut it out. It's a dang Tatula. It makes the worst. Yes, it makes the worst noise, and I love Daiwa, but it's for some reason it's like that.
What's your ratio that you use for your
skedaddle? The skedaddle is a 7-1. 7-1.
There you go.
And I like the 7-1. It's got a little more winching action than a slower gear ratio. It does cause me to get it back to the boat a little faster than sometimes, but it's just been what I use. There's things like my crankbaits. I have to, now that I've done it, I have to have a 5 gear ratio for my crankbaits. I will not throw it ever again on anything higher because I like deep diving crankbaits, and I was throwing on a 6.4, which is pretty decent. But when I went to the 5.1 Lew's, it's a night and day. I can throw that thing all day, and I don't feel like I'm wore out at the end of the day. So,
yeah, it's true. Your shoulders start burning.
I went back to the 6.4 just for a little bit. I was like, I can't do it. I have to throw it on 5.1. And we talked about that on the last show. We were talking about the speed spool bearings. I've got to get some bearings for my Lew's just to get it cast a little bit further than what it's doing now. We got Big Al Speed Shine in the house. What's going on, guys? Alan, I was talking to Big Al Speed Shine to Scott the other day.
Yeah, he made an order.
Did you?
Yeah, he made an order. I don't remember the exact name. I know it's like Alan
Coley.
But I went and looked. Yep. That's he made an order, and that's what you told me is that's what he owns. Yep. And I've got on there. I haven't ordered anything. I'm going to order it tomorrow. I'm going to get some Speed Shine for the boat and motor. And I used to be a detailer back in the old days too, on a little side gig. So I like having all that cool stuff. So I can't wait to try it.
I'm going to tell you. He'll tell you on here too. The Big Al Speed Shine is slick. It's super slick. It doesn't collect dust or anything like that, but it's super slick. Do not step on the gunnel if you put that on your boat. It's that slick. Ask Eric. The other day I made a mistake. I stepped off his boat and I stepped on the gunnel just for a second, and instantly my foot went sideways and I went, "Oh crap! I'm fixing to go in the water." It's that slick. He's got young men that he sponsors and stuff, fish up in Tennessee and stuff like that. And they've gone in the drink in the 20-degree water because they weren't paying, or I say 20-degree water, 20-degree weather because they weren't paying attention and forgot the Speed Shine was on there. So just be careful. It's some super slick stuff. He's actually said they actually dumbed it down from what it was. It was actually slicker than it is, and they dumbed it down a little bit. I'm telling you, it's the real deal. Okay. It's the real deal stuff for sure.
There you go.
Eric said, I think they were talking about speed, money, and stuff, and he says, "We're all nuts. I'm approaching 200K in my setup and tackle. That's almost sole purpose is to chase little green fish." Absolutely.
Little ditch pickles rule our life. It'd be cheaper to be a drug addict.
I did a TikTok video. It was a audio from somebody else's clip, and it said, "I used to be a drug addict, but then I took up fishing. I think I should go back."
Yeah,
because you can definitely get into it for sure. Then Eric said it, but then Coleman said it right here. 100% you will sell me on quality. Tired of having to buy troubles to replace him on Begamass jerkbaits. He reversed the name there. So, and I think that's, again, when you and I talked at the Classic, that was one of my big things. Like, man, if I don't have to buy hooks right off the bat, That's been my biggest argument against. And I like Mega Bass products. Don't get me wrong. But if I got to buy
So do
a
I.
$25 bait, I'm already mad.
Yep.
Right off the hip. So, let's see here. All right. See, Alan says he's hoping to get his before the big bass splash this weekend on Chick. They got that big tournament on Chick where you can win up to what is it, $1,000 an hour or something like that out there. So that's this weekend. He said he's hoping to get it before the weekend.
Okay.
Let's see. And then Sweating-MR. What's up, Sledgehammer, in this? I don't know what that means. I don't know what he's talking about there.
Say it again. Oh,
That's probably Chops.
Chops. Okay.
it says Sweat and Mist. I don't know who that is, but so.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Nice to have you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. And then we got Purrs Fishing in here. Alex, he was. Thank you for the shout out for FCLX the other night on the podcast he was on. I really do appreciate that. He's one of the other guys on the show. He does a Wednesday night podcast for kayak guys, and well, it's for anybody, but it's a kayak, kind of focused show. And I really appreciate him shouting that out on the other show the other night. I really do appreciate that. And he says he's going to have to give him a shot as well. I feel like you don't hear a lot of people doing this. It's always just airbrush blanks. And that was a point I was going to bring up earlier. Do you remember the first question I asked you at the Bassmaster Classic?
I do. Want me to say it?
Yeah, say it.
Do you own these molds?
Go. That's the first question I asked you. And I literally got cold chills when he said he owned the molds, because I was looking at him going, yep, this is going to be on fire right here. Because not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking anybody whatsoever. Won't talk bad about anybody, but there's a market flooded with everybody buying somebody else's molds, painting them, and calling them their jerk bait or their lure. And I'm not knocking. They're great baits and great colors. And if you want something unique, definitely get a bait, a painter to do it. But it excited me the fact that you own the molds. That was really cool.
So a little bit on that, I posted a video. I think it was yesterday. It was one of Shane talking about, hey, we're Gieser having fun with the names, and then he says people think we're doing this in our garage and we don't take offense to it. Well, you'll notice there's a big edit there because he has another 10 seconds. The way he says it is 100% truth about, these aren't garage products and blah blah blah. These are serious. And the reason I cut it out is because, one, we didn't want to portray that to everybody how he said it. He was 100% right. I know some of the best looking baits come from garages. I've been at the Bassmaster Classic watching these guys paint their glide baits. Those are amazing. The comparison that we were going through in that video, where the content guys were interviewing, it was like a 60-minute setup. They were interviewing like what separates us. If you can buy one of the blank molds from Tug Warehouse or from wherever, and you go and you paint it and you're talented, there's a young kid on Instagram that paints them on Whatnot and paints them live. Yep. He's super talented. But when you're buying that bait, you're buying that talent and you're buying that color, which is great. If you're not buying all the other products with it, and if you're just going to support somebody and put on a shelf, that's great. I want it to be able to not only catch fish, but I need it to hold up. And that's what we're really trying to do, is make sure that we have got a bait. You should see pictures of baits. There's a guy, he is the buyer for a tackle shop. I gave him a couple samples and he sent me a picture and he said, caught 35 fish in a day and a half. And I'm like, oh man, that's a great weekend. And he was on Sam Rayburn, right? One of the most famous lakes ever. And I said, did you use all my stuff or did you use other things? He goes, no. And he sent me a picture. It was beat up, but it's absolutely usable. And he goes, I'm telling you, I caught 35 fish on this bait. And I was like, to say I was on cloud nine is an understatement, because not only did it catch 35 fish in a day and a half on Sam Rayburn, it's in a varicose color, but it can be right back in this tackle box. You can catch another 35 fish. There's probably 200 more fish on there before you need to throw it out. They get chewed up, they get beat up, which is fine, but that's kind of what we're going for, is that kind of quality and everything. So we don't take offense to it, because some of the best painters are in the garage, but what we don't want people to do is to assign us is, oh, you're a garage guy, paint them in your garage and sell them, molds that I can get from somewhere else. So it's kind of a hard, I'm in a dichotomy. I don't want to trash them, but I also don't want to,
well, and that was the reason for my question up front was, do you own the molds? Because that tells me, for me, as a buyer or as somebody who promotes a bait, I don't have to go, well, they're just copying XYZ. It's 100% your product. And I know that when I use it, good, bad, or ugly, it is your product, and I don't have to go, well, he's using somebody else, probably just painted it, and that's why I can come back to you and go, hey man, could we tweak this or do this, and it's your product. You can make that decision and ultimately make it a better bait or whatever the case is. And then so Eric was saying, Alex, I've been fishing with Tony several times. He caught them on the Gieser baits in my boat. Absolutely. And then Alex had a question. Do they come with a feathered treble? Yes, they do.
They do. Actually, I'm in talks with them to calculate to adding into the packaging 2 extra trebles, rear trebles with feathers in different colors. So right now, everything's on the feather. Everything I've got is the white feather on that back treble. And if I can put that in a box like that and have 2 more trebles there, and one's maybe a black and blue, one's maybe pink and white, maybe chartreuse, something like that. And
I like it.
Looking at pricing to see where we'd have to move the pricing.
I'm gonna tell you right now, they destroy that feather treble on this bait. It has been most of I've had several come off at the boat that were only hooked on that treble. That's the one they're hitting. And actually the big one on Wedowee, the 5.5 that I caught, she come up out and she sharked it. You see her. I mean, she hit that bait sideways. When she got to the boat, the only hook she had was the back treble. I turned her just right to set the second hook in the side of her jaws where she couldn't come. Now she was pinned in the jaw. She wasn't coming off, but the boat flipper, there was no way I was boat flipping that fish with that one treble. And I didn't have a net out because I'm crazy like that sometimes. But yeah, I was able to turn her and get another hook in, thankfully. And then I lost one on Chateau. I caught the big 5. I lost one that was about 4 pounds. And when she got Tony asked me, he goes, hey, do you need the net? I said, yes, she's only got one hook, or it's only got one hook. And sure enough, it got the boat, saw the net, spun around. And when it did, it popped the treble out. So I lost one. I lost one pounder that we got to physically see it at the boat. I'm like, well, it is what it is. But
it counts. Shane just caught a monster and he caught it.
There you go.
He said got off the hooks.
It happens, man. And I don't get upset anymore about it. I'll be honest. The reason I get upset now is like, man, I don't have that piece of content to show another fish catch on the skedaddle.
That's
true. And I'm sure guys are like, please, you've already shown us you're catching them on the skedaddle. We get it. But guess what? You're gonna get more. You're gonna get more.
Yeah,
you're gonna get more.
Yes, sir.
And we had the sledgehammer said, ask Scott if he knows the sledgehammer. So I think we figured out who that was for sure.
Yes.
Know who that is.
That is also El Chapo is what he goes by. He's 11 years old. And this kid is always sending pictures. He's a good friend of the family. He's the youngest of 3 boys. They are the hunting, fishing, most country boys you've ever seen. And he's regularly holding up 6-pound bass going, check it out. I mean, he really is good. He's a great fisherman. And we got him in a couple of videos too. So we're going to do some more. He's from Southern Illinois.
Good deal. And that goes into another point too. Guys, for y'all making the orders, if you catch something on it, shoot Scott an email, send him a picture of it, put it on social media, and tag Gieser Fishing with it. It helps them get the name out there. Y'all are part of the reason they get known. I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Marketing is not cheap, and anything you can do to help somebody get their bait out there even more helps out a lot. Of course, the bad part is you start telling about what you're catching on there. Everybody goes and buys one. So it's like, on one hand, it's like, man, I really don't want to tell anybody. But on the other hand, I'm like, I got to tell everybody, kind of thing. All right. So here's the question of the night. I told you it was coming. Eric wants to know, okay, enough playing around. Scott and Shane, do y'all believe in Bigfoot or aliens?
Bubba?
Bigfoot? Absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely not.
Aliens, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Scott, what?
I'll one up the question. I don't believe we went to the moon. I'm ready to debate.
Here we go.
Never went to the moon.
Did we go past the moon this time though?
No, never even go out there. So they've never even been. So we can go down that road. That's a fun one. Bigfoot, do not believe. Aliens, I'd have a hard time believing in aliens if there really was intelligent aliens out there. Like, it would be a very weird thing. But I don't know. That's a great question.
Well, we ask everybody that question, and I say it like this. I want to believe there's a Bigfoot. I love Bigfoot stories. We've got a Bigfoot. If you ever come to North Georgia, we've got the Bigfoot Museum. It is an awesome.
Do you really?
It is an awesome whether you believe or not believe, the amount of work and effort that has been put into this museum is unbelievable. Go check it out on Facebook, website, whatever they do. I mean, it's a really great. I love the stories of it. I want to believe it. Do I believe they're all walking around there? Probably not, with all the cameras and technology out there.
Is Bigfoot from Georgia?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where, but there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings here. So we talked about it on the last show. I hunted in a place that's Doug said it was probably the biggest Bigfoot area there around. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've had my situations where I'm like, if I didn't know any better, I thought that was Bigfoot. So and it was I heard knocking at dark 30 in the morning. I was bow hunting and I got there stupid early, and there was knocking in the woods, and there's no houses around anywhere. Long story short, I talked to the management area guys that turkey season that came up, and he said there was actually Bigfoot hunters in the area all year hunting Bigfoot. And it had to have been what it was, because it was a very distinct 5 knocks, 4 knocks. It was crazy. But anyway, he said it was Bigfoot.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Coleman dropped some juice here. The clown color are good for ledge fishing. Just saying. I'm not versed. Okay. I'm not versed on ledge fishing enough to know that. So that's something I want to do more this year, is ledge fishing. And that's actually a good piece of advice there. I'm gonna take that one and put it in the back pocket for sure. Because I'm like, I'm
gonna show my ignorance. Is he talking ledge fishing is a drop off?
Yeah,
when it goes from 6 foot to 20 foot.
Like
and a clown color jerkbait or a clown color crankbait. I don't know what he's talking about.
Maybe both. I'm assuming. I don't know. Coleman, answer that.
Hey Coleman, were you on here when I showed that clown color?
Yeah, he probably was.
Okay.
All right, and then Coleman says the real question: when are you going to rip off the koiki? When are you going to do a koiki bait?
Never.
So, yeah, I was going to say the soft plastic world is something we want to get involved in. The minimum run and the plastic quality that we would want is out of our price range for now because of their minimums. The koiki ripoff probably would have been good if I was about a year ahead of it. I could have done it. I am using the factory that makes them. That's my factory in China for the skedaddle. But I can tell you that Hags got put on the map with their prickly pear, which is their version of koiki, and it works. It works great. We've got a ton of them. We drove an hour and 40 minutes when our local tackle shop sold out. We had to go to Shields, which is a huge retailer here, an hour and 40 minutes from us. So we had to go get them. We love that. Everyone's coming out with their little bit of differences. Yeah. Those creature or whatever they're going to be called, they're urchin styles. Abstract just came out. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, it's really, you really have to pay attention to the plastic quality, and I'd have to do the right plastics, and that's just a lot of money.
That seems to be the big thing I hear from a lot of folks is the plastic differences. I mean, you got some that use regular plastisol, you got some that use the the Elaztex, you got different ones. And that's the biggest complaint I hear from knockoffs is the quality of the plastics. You catch 1 or 2 fish on it versus a koiki you might catch 20. I don't know. I've never used one, so I have no idea. But
well, the quality of plastics is also going to keep it to get out. Where if you get the bad ones, after a day or maybe even a minute, they start collapsing, and wherever they're laid down.
I got you.
And if they're like that, they won't expand back in the water. So you've basically ruined it.
And then you got to buy the special tackle cases and all that stuff, and it turns into a job at that point for sure. All right, so
yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask a question. We've been talking about baits and everything else. Outside of a Gieser product, what is your favorite way to fish? What lure, color, weight, all that good stuff. If you want me to go first, go for it, Shane.
Yeah.
I have a jig tied on 365 24/7. Every time I'm fishing, I will not leave the lake without at least throwing a jig once. Okay. Whether it's finesse jig, full size jig, mega bass sleeper crawl. Don't want to spill too much juice. But
there you go.
Just dragging a jig is what I love to do. Even though we own a hard plastic company, I'd rather, if I can only throw one thing for the rest of my life, it'd be a jig. It's just what I like to do.
There you go. I mean, so I love a jig. I've got one. I've got a dedicated jig rod. That's what it's on there. Like you said, 365. It gets pulled out every trip I go on, because no matter what, there's going to be days where you go, they're just not biting the skedaddle right now. I mean, it happened to me on Chateau. They quit biting it. I had to go to something different. I went to a shaky head to get another fish. I mean, part of it. So I like it. Scott, what do you throw outside of Gieser? What's your favorite way to fish?
So I'm gonna say something a little different just because of difference, but I'm gonna be with Shane. So we're both of us are big Gerald Swindle fans. Where he is I would say Shane is a jig whore. That man is obsessed with every jig and knows every color and every style and everything. I've become addicted as well, but I have been Nicoing up recently,
Okay.
and I've had a lot of good success with the Nico, and it was kind of fun and different. And yes, that drives me nuts that I own a company with some of the most amazing hard plastics, and I'm at Ray Roberts up in North Texas, and I'm fishing a Nico because that's what they're biting.
Hey,
So,
part of it.
but we do a lot of soft plastics, wacky rigs, Texas rig, those. So we are definitely. Shane posted on Instagram the other day when he was cleaning out the boat. There was just so many different baits in there, and like you said, yeah, we own Gieser and it's there, but we're fishermen, so we love fishing, and you can't always fish a hard plastic the way you want to. We try every time. We'll throw something of ours, hopefully for that video, for whatever it is. But sometimes, some days you just know they're going to be hitting that sleeper crawl. You know they're going to be hitting a jig. So I'm a swim jig guy, so love the swim jig. I actually fish a chatterbait like a swim jig. I don't just do a normal
Okay.
chatterbait. So had a lot of success on that and treating it the same way. So just anything different. We'd love to make a bladed
Yeah.
jig. So that would be something we're actually looking into. I was going down the tungsten route a year ago and decided to get out of the
Forget that.
tungsten
Forget
world
that.
because every phone call was like triple.
Well,
So
now their prices.
I was out of money before the
Yeah,
phone
now
hung
their
up.
prices have gone through the roof for tungsten. I don't think anybody's going to be doing tungsten, from what I understand. It's going to be in.
It's funny. I talked to a guy who is sitting on a ton of tungsten for his jig company that he
Wow.
had, and he was told by his distributor that there will not be one tungsten fishing lure being thrown in about 4 years. You'll never see it thrown ever again. And any fisherman that has tungsten in his tackle box will have sold it at a gold store or the like.
Really? Just
Hmm.
think.
It is a precious metal, is because all the data centers going in throughout the nation, they need tungsten, and that's why we're in where we're in. So you're throwing a 3/8 ounce bullet tungsten bullet weight. You're going to pay a few bucks for it now. I bet in a few years it's going to be worth a lot
I
of
bought
money.
the only tungsten I own, loose tungsten I own. I bought from China 3-4 years ago when I first started back fishing, and I've still got them in the packs. And in fact, the first fish I caught Saturday was on a Texas rig with my little 1/4 ounce tungsten weight. Well, the fish choked the lure. I had to cut the line. I had to try to without killing the fish. Well, I cut my line. The tungsten was sitting on the back of the boat. When I cut the line, apparently it had just enough weight. It went bloop, and I'm going, well, there goes about $12 if I had to buy it today.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now that you said that it's going to be gold, I'm just going to take them out of the tackle box and put them on the shelf, and we'll just call it good.
Seriously, yeah, sell them in a few years and make a lot of money.
On it for sure.
So,
and I think you answered the question earlier. The chrome, you're saying 60 to 90 days. I think is what you said earlier on the chrome.
60-ish. Yeah, I'll make the order tomorrow. They're already ready to go. So, if you think they'll sell, then I'll place that order.
I think yeah, for out here for the Clear Lakes, you're talking chrome is one of those. Just if you watch any of the Live Well podcasts where they talk to guys that fish herring lakes or Clearwater lakes, if the sun comes up, once the sun's out, it's got to be chrome. That's the big thing. And you'll get guys that argue chrome with a little bit of color in it, blue, whatever, blah blah blah. But solid chrome. I can tell you, last year, not last year, but a couple of years ago, I went with Kevin Underwood to Lanier in October. This was October 5th or 7th, something like that. And we caught every fish that we weighed. It was a guide trip. Every fish that we weighed for almost 20-pound bag on Lanier on a weekday was caught on a chrome popper.
Wow.
We caught a few fish with flukes and stuff like that, but by the time they went to biting like we wanted them to do, a chrome popper was what it took to get them to actually commit to it. So it's definitely a chrome is definitely the color here for sure. And I keep when I was buying your competitors. Walking top water, clear, chrome, and bone, and black if they had it. That's what I always kept. So now, do I change over to chrome all the time? No, but I will. It's definitely in the box, ready to go when I need it.
Just there. Yeah.
And then we got
that matte black has come up in conversation quite a bit over the last week or two for me. So we're already making some
But
changes and doing
you
some.
got a bunch
cool
of guys
things.
that'll say if it's not, they'll say what color buzzbait you throw, black, and then I throw black, and if that's not working, I throw black. I mean, there's just guys that will not throw anything but a black, buzzbait, top water bait, something like that. They want the black color silhouette. And something else on the Gieser on the I didn't bring up. It's going to be in my video. I don't know if this camera will show it or not. But on the bottom there, you can kind of sort of see that it's got that shimmer. It's got a greenish blue glitter, like a really fine glitter dust on the bottom. Whether or not a fish can see that or not, I don't know, but I feel like it can see it, and it's got that almost herringish color to it. So it's got that same. We've got some baits that are local guys that put some color out that matches that color on some soft plastics. And guys, you'll know which color I'm talking about. Most of the guys on the show probably know which one I'm talking about. It's a Cast Fishing Co. a plastic worm called Lanier, and it's that exact. Not quite. There's a little more, obviously, a little more bright because it's a clear. It's a plastic lure, but that color, it very much mimics that same color. So that's why when I saw that on there, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be money right here." It surprised me.
Yep.
It surprised me how well it did on Gunnersville. I will tell you that. I was not expecting to catch in 2 foot of water 5-pound largemouth in stained water with that. When it bit, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is on right here. This is game on for sure." So those were. So to go back talking about talking about fishing soft plastics earlier, you own a hard bait company. The week or two before that, Eric LaRue in the comments went to Gunnersville and came in second place in a club tournament throwing a plastic worm. And he told me, "Hey, I was back in the back of this creek throwing a Texas rig worm." Well, I got there, and I'll be honest with you, the first thing I threw was a popper. And then I went to the skedaddle in the same areas, like around some blowdowns, kind of stuff like that, whatever. And then in my head, I went, the only docks in this creek are back here in the very back. Let's go fish some docks. And it started throwing the skedaddle, and that's where it went down with that. I just had a feeling.
I was gonna say that video that looks so perfect right there with that dock.
I had a feeling for some reason, I don't know why, but it just throw this walking top water parallel these docks, and that's just where it happened at for sure. So, Jeff Brazil's got a good question. Any future plans for different sizes in your lineup? Example, 105 millimeter skedaddle. I use the evergreen shower blows a lot in the 105 and 125. Size matters for me here on the Tennessee River sometimes.
That's absolutely right. Tennessee River people have already reached out.
Good.
We were going to be doing a 100 for the skedaddle, so 105. If that's something I'm not married to the number, but the smaller skedaddle is 100% coming, and we're going to do 2 sizes of poppers as well. So my other poppers coming will be the bigger one, but 100% the skedaddle's coming in smaller. The codger will be smaller as well, and then of course I don't think we can get to a bigger crankbait for a dag nabbit. We go to 12. We go to 15, I mean. 8, 12, and 15. To go to the next round, I'd have to go to an 80 millimeter body. And then you would be able to go to like 18 to 21, depending on the bill and everything. And to be blunt, I don't know if I have the market for that yet. Maybe when I've got some money to quote unquote waste, then I'd do it.
How scared, and that's a good parlay into this question. How scared are you? Because the conversation over the last year or two, at least 2 years, has been that forward-facing sonar is killing the hard bait companies because of that. I mean, and I love throwing it. I love throwing a deep diving crankbait. I wish you had a 20-foot diving or a 21 for 25, whatever I get that deep as I go. But I understand that position where it's like that's a lot to buy into to go. Well, forward-facing sonar is killing that market right now.
Yeah. So I researched that. That was actually before the couple months before I even sent the money to the guys who sold me the molds and everything. I was researching what sales would be and what sells the most, and of course the mooch minnow and your freeloaders, all your good Crush City stuff. My son is a scoper. He knows how to do it. I don't scope very often. I don't know. He's saying kind of not anymore, but I'm just not a scoper. And what I found out is a perfect example today. The gentleman came, so I know this man from our Working Man's tournaments. A super cool guy. I've only met him a few times. His son is a 19 years old, 18 years old. He's a hammer. Came to the Working Man's, and our lake, anything over 8 pounds is a unicorn. But they've caught a 10-pounder twice. So these guys know how to fish, but they are both obsessed with hard plastics. This man wanted he said something today. You're talking about confident. Like you mentioned earlier. It's so funny that it happened earlier today too. About you may have to lose it. You got to take the
Yep.
risk it for the biscuit because you know what it's going to be. And that's literally what he texted me. He showed me his tackle box, and he's got all kinds of geezer baits in there. It's the best picture I've ever seen. I'm like, it's a stranger. You know, I mean, I know of him, but I don't
Right.
know him. I've never been to his house. I don't know anything about him. But to see a stranger with so many geezer baits because he's obsessed, he loves the quality, and he's going to throw them where he's going to lose them.
Right.
He's like, you don't second guess it. You don't waste your money. Spend the money, get them, be confident, and throw
Yep.
it. And he is also, as long as there's people like that, I think I'm going to be okay because we're going to be mass communicating. We are getting in the soft plastic business. We will have some minnows and some flukes and things up there. It's going to be a little bit further down the road because we want to do it the right way with the right
Right.
plastics. So there's some great smaller soft plastic, like you just mentioned, Cast, absolutely unreal. All their
Oh yeah.
products are unreal, and you've got some smaller run soft plastic companies that are doing good, and then unfortunately I won't name other names, but there's some out there that are really small that did not do the right type of plastics. They tried to save money and just don't know who's going to buy them. You know, once they'll sell their initial order, but they're not going to keep ordering
Right.
it. You know, there people are out there doing it right. Like I would say, Hags used to be small. Hags is so big. He's doing everything right. He's kind of like a little mini role model to me. I've never met him in person. We talk often. His name's Justin, owner of Hags. Great guy, but he's just doing everything he wants to do right. And his image is working
Yep.
man's and you know for the blue collar, and he's keeping his prices where it is, and he's making sure that he's not cutting corners. So we're kind of wanting to do this similar to that, and slow growth will be rewarded. You know, so we're going to try to mimic that type of
Right.
thing.
So I got a question here. I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna answer it a little bit first, and then I'll let you guys answer it. So War Eagle the best. He's a regular viewer on the show, and I appreciate the question. What is the difference between the skedaddle and a shower blows? Why do I choose your company's baits versus proven high quality Japanese lures? And I'm gonna answer it a little bit first. Number one, it's a great working bait. I have got video on top of video on my social media right now showing that it catches fish, not just out there. I'm not sponsored. I'm not, I'm not any way invested in the company at all. I just know that it works. Scott is a very good friend of mine, and I will support him every way that I can with that. But then your last part of your sentence answered that question perfectly. You're supporting a small family-owned business that has very good quality, uses very good quality hooks, very good quality built on a bait, the paint jobs, or whatever you call them. Paint jobs really isn't the right term, but how it's made, it's good quality. And I think that speaks volumes for that myself. Now, I'll let you answer that question because he did ask you directly.
Sure.
What's the difference,
Yeah.
and why should he buy your bait versus a Japanese lure?
Um, I really don't have a great answer for it. Evergreen makes some amazing baits. That's Evergreen, right? Am I right?
I believe so.
Who makes the shower blow?
Yeah, I believe it's
Yeah, I believe it's Evergreen. As far as why you should support Geezer, one, I am I'm serious about the business. I've got a lot of seriousness in me, but I've got so much fun in me that I just want to be like, look at me. You're going to support me. I mean, I live in North Texas. My son and I are doing this, and I didn't cut corners to make it. So I've thrown evergreen stuff. They're great. I mean, I've never thrown a Japanese product that I didn't love. But most of the Japanese products that I buy are way more than the other options. So I've tried to keep my pricing. So I'm as low as $11, as much as 18. That's my window. The Skedaddle is the most expensive lure I have because it's 130 millimeters of plastic with high end, hardware on it. But I believe it works. I know it works. It's not just Tony doing it. It's
that's right.
everybody that has them. They're getting obsessed with them. You can work them differently, but I don't have anything bad to say against anything Evergreen. I think there's some great. Who makes the OG spook? That
Heading.
we were
And
looking at.
yeah,
Yes, yep. So man, great baits. There's some crankbaits out there. I always make a joke about the raffle of the DT10. Like never heard of him. Obviously joking, but there's some great baits, and what it is confidence. So I hope to be one of the big guys one of these days, and still can come on podcasts like this and be like, yeah, man, remember when, and
Absolutely.
and we grew this to be, to so everybody in the nation knows about it. But hopefully, when people get from the time they open up the box from me, from the packaging, from the hardware, tying it on, the experience for everything, and then catching that fish. I can't wait to make loyal fans.
You know, and that's something we didn't talk about is packaging. Y'all did a really good job on packaging as well. It's not cheap. It's not
Thank you.
chintzy. It's
Thank
very
you.
good
No.
quality packaging. And that gets, you know, that's the first thing you throw away is besides maybe the receipt so your wife didn't see it, is the packaging. I mean, it goes in the trash or, you know, like me, you got a bait wall.
It drives me
Oh,
nuts. Yeah, when I know that people are gonna, like, that guy that left the store today, he bought like 36 baits, and I'm like, oh my god, he's literally gonna throw that by his trash can is gonna be filled with my high end packaging, and that's one of the reasons. So I've got my extras that I'm going to be doing, my normal order, and then I'm going to add some on there in hook resistant bags. So the ones that I give away, I can give away like, hey Tony,
Yep.
here's some baits
Save a
for
little bit on
you,
the
and then
packaging.
you don't have to have the package. Save some, and save a little bit of money.
People
on
don't
that kind of
realize
stuff, so.
the amount of money that's spent on packaging for a product. When you buy a product, how much, because the dyes and the molds and all that stuff. I mean, my good buddy Rob Williams, that's what he's in the dye and mold business, packaging business, and that is a huge expense for a company when it comes to that. And so you can almost look at packaging and go, well, they got quality packaging if their product works half as good as the packaging cost. But most people don't think about that because, like I said, it's the first thing they throw away besides the receipt. So
I'm hoping that people put that together when they look to know that obviously all of my stuff from the package looks great. I got everything pushed forward. They're not floating in a box. They're in a mold, clamshell mold inside, and then the plastic that we bought was the higher end plastic, so it doesn't scuff easily. It will scuff. It'll get scratched up, but you're not going to get it immediately and all beat up. And I hope my hope was people seeing it on a shelf at a tackle shop going, oh, wow, if it looks this good, I'm pretty committed. I'm gonna commit to this, and of course come back and buy more.
All right, so we're at that 2 hour mark, but I'm gonna leave it with this. Eric answered, and I know Eric's a good buddy of mine, but he answered War Eagle's question. War Eagle, I fished the shower blows head to head against the skedaddle on Lanier, and Tony outfished me with it. I can't say it's that way every day, but head to head, it beat it. So that again, Eric, at one point, if you watch the Lanier video, I say to him, I don't know, if you got something bone, you might want to tie it on, because I didn't know if it was the bone color or what. But, and I didn't plan that question. That's just the way it went. But that's a viewer saying, hey, I've watched it go down. And again, I'll throw any lure out there. I'll try any lure, but I knew as soon as I saw it, the skedaddle was going to be a money. Just this time of the year, I knew what it could do. How many times I tell you, I need the skedaddle like now.
Oh, absolutely.
I need it now. So
that was the delay. We had a 6-week delay from the other products to the skedaddle, but it did hit right when we needed it. That was the best part, because that's when the top water bite started going.
You couldn't have timed that any more perfect. I mean, you couldn't have timed it any more perfect. So it worked out great. But guys, like I said, it's been 2 hours, a little bit over, but that, we could probably keep talking for a little while. There's more questions down here. Tony Watkins in the show. Appreciate you stopping by. And then, guys, I really appreciate y'all stopping by the show. Thank you for making the orders to Gieser tonight. That really shows viewers.
Thank you so much, guys.
The heck out of that. Scott, Shane, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I know we've been trying to get you on for a couple of weeks. You were out of town, couldn't make it, so I'm glad you finally got to get on here. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to the Chrome. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to the Chrome. Showing it on here, knowing that you got it in your hands is almost enough for me right now. I know you got it in your hands. But guys, thank y'all for stopping by the show. Thanks for watching tonight. We appreciate it as always. Listen, if you're going to be fishing this week, as Danny says, y'all be safe. Wear your PFD. Don't go out there be crazy. It's starting to get summertime. We were on Chattoog Saturday, and these folks in wake boats do not care. I don't know what it is, but y'all be real safe, be careful, and we'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Awesome.